Guys, well, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I think we're on. There's not even anybody watching, so I can't even tell if
Yeah,
we
someone
are.
might watch it back though. You never know.
Yeah. Hello, person in the future.
You know, but this is the bit of the video everyone sees. They at least watch the intro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So at least we didn't fuck up this time like we did at the start of the last one. That's
not yet, not yet. But don't
that's
worry.
always so it's always a good start in my view.
Yeah, and it's still a distinct possibility. You know, my leg might just accidentally twitch and it overdoes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll just be chaos. Absolute fucking ow. Absolute chaos.
yeah. Like when you're like Catholic priest loosely kindergarten.
Whoa.
Ooh, it's too far.
Yeah, the Pope will come after you with all of his guns.
I'm too old for the Pope to come after me.
I don't know.
Divide my age by about 4 or 5, and maybe. Oh.
Well, this is some unawkward chat, isn't it? It's nice unawkward chat.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing to make a chat awkward like introducing a Catholic to it.
To anything.
Yeah.
There's the fun of Kent Hovind getting arrested again.
Oh, just in that was hilarious.
Not evading taxes this time, though.
Yeah.
No, just beating his wife, like a good Christian should.
If you speak out of turn and you are a woman, you should be stoned. He's gone easy on her.
Well, I know the slaves was the thumb, wasn't it? Thumb-sized rod you could hit him with. As long as they didn't die, he was all right.
Or if they got resurrected after a few days, it was
So,
fine.
women were a step above that, I suppose.
I don't know. I mean, theirs was literally speak out of turn without being spoken to first, and that's it, stoned. Dead.
You couldn't approach him when they were on the period either, so maybe that's why he was like body slamming around the house.
Woman, I told you, get out of my kitchen. I'm gonna report you. I'll stone you.
He just can't help it. The good Lord told him that he's in command, so whatever.
Yeah, all animals and women under your purview now.
Well, depends which one, because the first one they're equal because they were made at the same time.
Yeah.
But I suppose when you get made equal, you got to go around jack off little boys in the sleep. So never got a little.
Oh, she's never visited me. I'm gonna be honest, never.
Well, you're gay.
Slightly disappointed, but also slightly relieved.
Don't know.
It's like when you're young and you go to church and the priests don't touch you. It's disappointing, but also a relief. It's like, am I really that ugly? But also, oh, thank fuck, I'm not ugly. Yeah, but yeah, when you're a Christian, you can pick and choose which one suits you at the time. Oh well, the first creation story. And I prefer this one. Women have to be subservient. I like this one.
I saw something saying that might have actually been written first, and not the other one.
Oh well, who knows why they put them in which order they wanted to.
They probably put the other one first because it sounds more grand, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, God just creates. Adam and Eve, bam, there you are. The other one is a bit of dirt, bit of rib.
Well, it was the second one is definitely showing off God's like MacGyver skills, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we take the man, we put him asleep, we get the rib, and you get a bit of dirt. You blow it all together and tank.
Voila.
Yeah.
We can now escape this facility, which we are going to be reading about today, to be honest.
Yeah. Right, so should we just get into that then?
Yeah, we'll go straight into it.
The awkward chat's out of the way. So it's not like we've not been chatting for the last 40 minutes anyway, so we've got nothing to talk about when the stream starts. It's definitely the most productive way to doing things.
Oh yeah, so tonight's episode, Chapter 3 of Genesis.
Oh, just give me a second. You can't see the screen, but I can. I've got to change it over. There we go. I've changed it over.
Hey!
See, it's all official now. It's on the screen.
Yeah, the official King James version. So, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which God, the Lord God, sorry, don't strike me down, had made. And he said unto the woman, Ye, or yea, I can never pronounce that word. Yay! Yay, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said up unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So that's not even what God said, though. She added her own stuff onto that. Because God just says, don't eat the tree, don't eat the fruit, right? She's like, oh, but can't touch it either.
And gossip, that's what happens. The stories get embellishments as they get told.
Well, exactly. Not only does it get embellished, but it's like, is this also like, some accidental thing of like, oh, well, this is how religion works, really, isn't it? You've got this tale, and then people just keep on tacking on through word of mouth, because all this stuff, it was like, even when it was written, it was still, like before then, it was all word of mouth. So it's just people tacking on and tacking on and tacking on.
Yeah, and then they cut little bits off, and then let's go on. I'm surprised this didn't end in, don't even look at it, just don't look. What happens in this point, then, if it says, you shall not touch it, lest you die? If a leaf fell off and blew and just landed on Eve.
But that's it. But that's not the fruit, though, is it?
Yeah, but
now if the fruit fell off, like, and hit her on the head like Newton, she'd be pretty fucked. But the thing is right, they haven't been in the garden that long.
True. This is fairly early days, but it does say, you shall not eat of the tree. It's not about the whole tree. You can't eat the fruit from it, but don't touch it either. Just don't touch it. Yeah. A stray root, you trip over it while you're walking through the garden one day, and bam, dead.
Sorry, is he all right? What's up with that?
He's not walking right.
Can I pause the stream? I don't know. Yeah, okay, Bill. Sorry, I've got an old dog and he's ill.
Yeah, I think once he's had a little bit of a rest, he might get a bit better.
But when he's walking, he's not walking right.
You okay, Bill?
Unless it's because he's been lying and he's just got up.
Possibly.
I do that all the time.
But that wasn't right at all, that. Scared me a bit at first.
Okay, well, so he seems to be, he's being a bit ginger on it.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to avoid putting weights on it.
Maybe it's something he did, but it was in bath time, and dived out onto the towel.
Since his surgery, he's been a bit thingy.
Yeah, that leg's been a bit dodgy since.
Yeah.
Oh well, back to this then.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. Well,
Yeah,
I've got to see if the dog's all right.
No, I know.
Some things are more important in life than the Bible. Quite a lot of things, to be honest.
Yeah, like the dog.
Yeah.
So what were you saying?
Yeah, so, it said, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, you shall not eat it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.
I was asking what you said.
So, touch it and die. Well, we'll see if that comes true. And the serpent said unto the woman,
well, that was the point I was in the middle of making before the dog, and we got interrupted by help of the dog. They've not been in the garden that long. He's not even named her Eve yet. That happens near the end of the chapter.
Indeed, she is just named the woman.
Yeah. Like after she eats of the apple, then she's called Eve.
Huh.
Yeah. So they've not even been there that long, and suddenly the snake is just like there going, "Yeah, yeah, how you doing?
Hello,
What's with this tree?"
Oh, by the way, Adam got a name.
Well, God created Adam. It was Adam's job to name everything.
And he went, you know what? You're just going to be.
Well, in the second chapter, there's our dog. Yeah, right, Bill.
He's an adorable aren't you, Bill?
He's a pestilence upon this land.
He's adorable.
But in the second chapter, Eve's created after all the animals and the plants and stuff, and like kind of God parades them all out. Parades them all out in front of Adam, and then just one by one just goes, "Well, what's this? What's this?" And he names them all. And he hasn't named Eve yet.
Or kangaroos.
You know, God created them all at the same time. It doesn't matter how many oceans they've got to cross, right?
Or the fact that they're not in the Bible specifically. They could just be, you know, well, we just expect you to believe that.
I mean, to be fair to the Bible, though, you couldn't have the Bible naming all of the animals.
In fairness, it would probably be a hell of a lot longer.
Well, of course it would. You've got to name all the animals. All of them.
Yeah, now, are we talking each individual species?
Well, yes, because Adam
Each
names all
variant.
of them. He names all of them.
Yeah.
So Adam's just there for days, just going, that's a Hercules beetle. That's a big beetle. That's a blue beetle, or whatever. You know what I mean? Bap, 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 bap.
Gets bored when he gets to birds. That's a tit. That's a great tit.
and,
That's a blue tit.
and thus the idea from Eve was born.
So again, and the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Yeah.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
See, it's great how he like. See, this is why it's so bad that God did this, right? God obviously knows what's going on, right? He obviously knew this was going to happen. He's got omnipotence, right? And it's like even the snake saying, you know, you'll be like the gods if you eat from this, right? And like, he knew it was going to happen. He knew that they were going to fail this test.
Well, it's God's great plan, isn't it? You know.
Well, is it a plan though?
Well,
Because
God knows how everything's going to go.
Right, so it can't be a plan. It's just he just knows how everything's going to go, and then arranges himself accordingly, and doesn't even do it correctly himself.
So he set all these things in motion, knowing exactly how they were going to go. Didn't interfere. Just went, don't eat that. I know you're going to do it, but don't eat that.
Yeah, because like it's the knowledge. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? So they don't understand what good and evil are. So they don't understand that God saying no, don't eat that is a bad thing because they don't understand it's bad. And then he damns everyone until Jesus is dead, right? With original sin. So everybody's born with original sin because God knew that Adam and Eve were going to eat whatever fruit. Because everybody gets this idea that it's like send the dog out.
Go on, Bill. Good lad.
They act
Good lad,
like,
Bill.
you know,
Good lad, Bill.
the normal image for, you know, the tree, it's an apple, but it never says that it's an apple.
It doesn't state the type of fruit. It just says fruit.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure apples don't even come from that area. I've seen somebody saying that it is probably actually a banana, but fuck knows. I have no idea. I can't even remember who said that. I just remember them saying that and me going, very interesting. I don't know if they were credible or not.
Possibility of fig.
Um,
Be figs. Yeah, from every time I've heard this told, not directly read from the Bible, told, it's always just Eve that I took. Just Eve.
oh no, she always but it's like it's always portrayed that Eve bites the apple and then she goes, Adam, you will partake of my fruit, right? When really she just goes, did we read them? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just eats it and then just gives it to Adam. She doesn't persuade him. She doesn't coerce it or cajole him or anything.
Yeah. There was no, like, you must do this. I've done it. You have to do it now.
Yeah.
No, none of that. It was just, yeah, go on then. Oh, and the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Now, why is being naked evil?
It's about shame. It's the start of shame in like Christianity and Judaism. You must be ashamed of your body. You know what I mean? But also, there's a possibility that this is maybe an allegory for like people used to being hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
Because they're from like Abraham, who's really the start of Abraham really is the start of Judaism, and he's from Uruk. I can't remember which one it is. Old Mesopotamian names are hard to remember, or which one was which. And like, so they, Mesopotamians, they were still quite close to hunter-gatherers, and there's a possibility that this is all just allegory for the garden was, and us being naked was just us roaming around, you know, killing things with our makeshift spears
Yeah.
and you know, stone tools or whatever. And then once they got the knowledge of good and evil, not necessarily just, you know, like, so, oh, you shouldn't kill this thing, maybe you should kill this thing, stuff like that, that we progressed into a society, and that's the kicking out of, you know.
Yeah, we've moved on from the hunting and gathering to agriculture.
True, but see, the other side of it is it also just could be like almost completely nicked whole cloth. Well, not whole cloth, but like quite a bit from Sumeria, because like early, so there's a god in Sumeria called Enki, and basically Enki is a water god, and considering, and he has a lot of similarities with Yahweh, and you know, because Yahweh, when he makes the firmament, it's all water and it's water below. He floods everyone. Enki floods everyone. But like when it comes to the garden, so Enki is also a bit of a god of mischief, and he likes to fuck everything, like everything. Like if you read the actual tale, it's Enki and Ninhursag, right? Hursag, sorry. And he's fucking dirt. He's fucking the reeds. He's fucking everything, right? And he's just going around this swampland, just fucking everything. And he comes across this family, right? And he fucks the daughter. And the daughter, she gives birth 9 days later. For each day is a month, right? And then he fucks that daughter. And then 9 days later, she gives birth. And then he fucks that daughter. And then it goes on a couple times, right? And Ninhursag gets really pissed off about this. And she makes this garden and goes to Enki, don't eat of these fruits. Just don't, right? It's bad. And he goes, the god of water, bitch. See all these canals that fucking, you know, made all this heritable? That was me. Because like in another story, he actually makes all the canals with his dick. He really does.
Fucking irrigation.
Yeah, basically. And like, you know, Sumerians were Mesopotamia was, you know what I mean? And like, so he eats them, and then he starts getting all these sores all over his body. He gets them in his jaw, his side, and his just like I think he gets 7 of them, right? And she has to create other gods that then have to like get those out of him. The one that comes from the rib. It's called Ninto, something like that. I forget the name offhand. You would have thought I would have written this bit down, but I didn't. And she you know she takes the pain from his side, and she goes on to be known as the woman who gave birth to all life, much as Eve was of the rib, and gave birth to all life.
Oh. So what we're saying is, this god's a bit of a rip-off then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's like even in the Sumerian and Babylonian creation myth, there's a lot of similarities between that and Judaism.
Well, there's just so many similarities with this particular religion and many, many others.
Yeah, but that's just modus operandi for religions in general. You know what I mean? Because most of them, they take over a place. And then they go, oh, well, this is your religion. Oh, well, these are some mighty fine holy days. We'll nick those holy days.
Yeah, we'll have those.
Or, like, you know, just nick, like, because Enki eventually ends up in the Babylonian tale of Gilgamesh. It's called Enkidu. And he's more Gilgamesh's best kind of frenemy kind of character.
Yeah.
Not necessarily god of water, but he does some similar stuff.
Yeah, it's... Most religions rip off from others.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of them.
Well, yeah, it's the easiest way to get it to spread, because if the new religion of the area is pretty similar to all the other the religion you used to worship, well, you know, there's a bit of resistance at first, but eventually people start to fall in line.
Yeah, so if something come and took over Christianity, but you can still keep Christmas and Easter. We'll just slowly work it in that it's attributed to something else.
Yeah,
which is what the Christians kind of did with.
But it was just common. It was just common practice. That's what they all did.
Yeah, divine word of God.
True, but like the Jews were really one of the first ones that kind of went, no, ours is the only God. You know what I mean? Because everybody else had lots of gods that were just, oh, we don't know how these things work, so here's this god for it, so we'll pray to that god, and then hopefully that'll, you know.
I don't understand why the sky is angry. Thor?
Yeah. Basically.
Oh. We should carry on. Little off topic, but it's fun. Interesting.
No, I don't think it was off topic in the slightest.
Christians would like to think so.
Of course they would. They don't know fucking jack shit about their religion 9 times out of 10.
But yeah, they're now naked. They've got fig leaves that they've sewn together to make skirts from sudden amounts of shame.
It says very specifically aprons.
Aprons.
Which I find funny, which amuses me in another respect, because you get all the images that get made of them. What they've got to leave the covering the nipples.
Usually one leaf there, one there, one there.
And the bits. But like...
It's full apron.
Yeah.
You can cook in this and not risk getting fat scalds all over you, you know. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam with all his omnipotence, and said unto him, Where art thou? I was like, you're omniscient, you know everything.
No, I've got something to say. Just finish just read a little bit more.
A little bit more. And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou should not eat?
So, right, do you not think that, like, this goes further to me saying, you know, this is definitely God knew was going to happen. I was expecting this. Because that's just pure Columbo right there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Just one more thing. You know what I mean? What are you doing? What have you done? Have you done something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He walks into the garden. He knows preemptively where Adam and Eve are.
Adam
and woman.
Adam, where are you? What have you done? Have you done anything? You seem to be awful ashamed over there. You know what I mean? He full on knows. He knew this was going to happen.
I can see you blushing. Your nipples are hard. What's wrong?
To be fair, though, your nipples go hard in a stiff breeze, so...
Mine go hard from cloth rubbing over them, which is a bit of a shame when tits bounce.
Well, that's why you got to wear the undershirt when you're doing a bit of running or something. You know what I mean?
I got a sports bra on there. Most of the men don't need them. I do.
Oh.
Well, that's a lie. I don't run.
Never mind.
And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
He immediately throws her underneath the bus.
Yes.
And he blames God.
Well, he's correct.
The woman that you gave to me. You gave me this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave it to me.
So you should have made this woman more controllable. All women need to be controlled by men.
Well, you know, if you read the other books that are in the Bible, he did, and it didn't work out. So...
Oh, that's something we could probably go through at some point after we've gone through the whole
there's like
Bible.
the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees. The actual Lilith tale I found out is like a lot younger than I thought it was. And Jewish. I thought it was Catholic. It is not.
I thought it would be Catholic. But,
yeah, the Catholics get very creative with the
yeah.
with the inconsistencies and try and write extra stories like in the 1200s going, this was definitely there all along. None of them can read it anyway. They'll never know.
There's quite a lot of things in Catholicism where it's all about people who go around touching you without permission.
Well, you know, it sticks with them to this day. Like the children to the sheets. It's a bit rough.
Oh, it was, but not quite as rough as looking underneath the gown of a priest. Oh. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. I mean, not much of a beguile, really. He just said, but...
She's less than a day old.
She is, but it's God's perfect creation. His best. The one he was most proud of.
No. Adam is his best creation.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Right? Not Eve. Eve is made from Adam. Right? Because it's a little bit of symbology, though, isn't it? It's kind of, well, we gave birth first, and ours was easy. And then this happens, and then your birthing is hard. Hard and painful.
So you can imagine having a rib removed would be painful, but if you fell asleep before giving birth to a bit
Well,
of
yeah,
dick-
God goes, "Duh, duh, duh," and you're asleep. You know, he gives it the "I dream of Genie" nod. And,
Yeah, but
he's
imagine if
asleep.
this hadn't have happened, how many people would have been born that God would have to be the midwife for?
I'm not sure how many people would have been born.
Mm. Well, at first, it does seem like they know bugger all. They wouldn't have known about having kids.
To be fair though, the apes that we came from, they didn't know anything about childbirth aside from that it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
One day you're a bit swollen, the next day
yeah, pretty much.
I've got this thing clinging to me that if I don't look after it, it'll die. Which is how I feel about kids. Which is why I don't want one.
Well, they wouldn't be clinging to your tit though, would they?
The dog had tried, and
What
accidentally
you do
succeeded.
with your dog in your own home, right? It's nothing to do with me.
No, it's a hot day. Sprawl on the couch for a bit. New puppy comes over. It's dead cute. Goes, bites it.
He was looking for a suckle.
Yeah, he was. I'm afraid I don't produce, but you know.
He didn't know that. He just went, "That's a nipple. That's
Yeah.
a nipple I haven't suckled from."
5 more minutes of this, and I'll be angry, dog. Oh, what hast thou done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. So yeah, not much of a beguile happened. And then, well, he said every fruit.
Yeah, but like I said, she was a
Dale.
day old.
Yeah.
Cut the woman some slack. It's a miracle that she knew how to. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that she knew how to fucking speak.
But if you go by the Bible standards, we shouldn't cut women slack unless it's when you're hanging them, you know.
Whoa, that hasn't happened yet. Right? I'm still in the be nice to women stage, right? She's a day old.
Mm.
She's a day old. She's still got that new human smell.
Pine fresh.
Whoa. It's not pine fresh. We're in Iraq.
Yeah.
There's no pine in Iraq. Or if there is, I don't fucking know
It's
about
probably in an IKEA.
it. There's no IKEAs in Iraq.
Oh, they get everywhere and anywhere in any time. They
And
just do.
I'm somehow the oppressive Muslim regimes, I suppose, don't let Swedish things in.
I don't know.
You know,
I
like
mean,
Western goods.
They've
They
let McDonald's in.
Yeah,
Afghanistan has McDonald's and Subway.
Yeah, because America was over there for 20 years, going
Yeah.
shooting people, going, "Let's bring our stuff." Anyway, back to the Bible.
And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Now, I don't know if snakes actually eat dust. I'm very
No, of course they don't.
doubtful.
The like animals, eggs.
Is it possible God confused it with a worm? It's a distinct possibility. I should eat dust.
That's a very intriguing
I think slow
possibility.
worms are quite big.
Yeah. Do you know? I'll look into that. I've
Yeah.
never actually thought of that.
It could have been confused, and it could have been a worm, and I cursed my ass to eat dirt, because people see worms and they go into the dirt, and that's all they eat. You know. The dirt and whatever just happens to rot inside it. Yeah.
There's plenty of mistranslations, so
Yeah.
there's always a possibility.
But all that serpent did was point out that God said you can eat every fruit in the garden. No, but don't eat that one. But he said you could eat all of them, right?
Well, see, the thing I really like about this is like one that snakes have legs,
Mm.
so the leg the snake crawled up to her, and then you have to get rid of the legs because there's your punishment. But also, a lot of Christians say this is the devil.
I have heard that, but it says specifically it's just a serpent.
Yeah, but that's why a lot of people say like, "Oh, hide your forked tongue, devil," and stuff like that. They give the devil a lot of. So even when you look at like portrayals of the devil, he has a snake. He has a forked snake tongue.
Yeah.
He has snake eyes a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has like scaly skin, stuff like that. Like the idea that this is the devil has been around for ages. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny though. Oh, you're cursed. You have to crawl on your belly and eat dust, but they are quite very good predators.
Yeah.
The top of quite a few food chains. Yeah. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
See, now this is where the women get no rights.
Yeah. I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I
well,
was just acting preemptively.
but like I've also seen the idea floating around that this is slightly mistranslated in that it's not supposed to be pain in conception.
Yeah.
That it's actually because the next bit down. Just read the next bit.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life.
And the next bit, sorry.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
Now, the mistranslation I've seen is because a lot of the Adam stuff is that basically, because it was the Garden of Eden was an actual garden. God tells him to till the soil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, Garden of Eden was just this land of plenty, right? And really, what it was probably
land.
just like, what?
Arable land.
Extremely arable land, right? Now, whether this is, it's the Fertile Crescent, so this place is better to farm than, Saudi Arabia and like bits of Iran and, all that area coming up from, through Egypt into Africa and everything. But it's also like, it was going to be easier to harvest stuff here. It was going to be easier to exist. And so when he got cast out of Eden, it's like, no, look, you're gonna do it in all this fucked land, right? So there's also a possible mistranslation when it comes to birth stuff that actually means that you shall have to work and toil like Adam does and give birth at the same time, sort of thing. But we have nowhere near the original manuscripts.
No.
So
whatever we've got is what we've got, I'm afraid.
what's one of the things that I always love about Christianity, especially, it's like, well, and Judaism, it's like, well, we've got these really old manuscripts, and it's like, yeah, but the tradition was around for hundreds of years beforehand. It's like, yeah, but and it's like, no. What was that beforehand? What did it get changed to? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's probably a single passage in the Bible that isn't mistranslated in some way or another. It's
oh, true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be more surprised if we found one passage in the Bible that wasn't mistranslated. I'd be more surprised at that. Yeah. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. Oh, sorry, shalt thou return.
See, it's very symbolic, but I think one of the problems with these passages, especially, is that a lot of people say now, because like people used to believe this was how everything was created and how everything went, right? But now we know better, so we're like, oh, it's just allegory, it's just
these are moral stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it tries, like in a couple chapters, it's gonna start linking Adam to Jesus. And it's like, well, you can't have someone linked to someone else and then say it's fiction.
I know. And then suddenly, all right, you've disproved this particular part of the Bible by actually looking for evidence, finding that there is either evidence against it or no evidence for it, and going, it's a moral story.
Also, I like that. One of the things that gets me about this is God says you're gonna, eat from the fruit, you're gonna die. Well, they don't die.
No, I think that it's more of you're not immortal anymore.
They weren't immortal to begin with. There's a bit coming up where it kind of goes on about that. So I'll touch on that then.
Right. Well, fair enough. But in the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread. I think that means you're gonna have to work hard now. You're going to eat, you have to work hard, and you're not going to eat the nice juicy fruits of trees. And
well, yeah, it was like I was saying with the Garden of Eden. It's not a hard thing. They were still going to have to work for this stuff.
Yeah.
But
now, all right, you have to irrigate your own fields.
And he says they eat bread. They're like, what do they know about bread?
In fairness, they might have planted. It's a few days. They might have planted some seeds, but they don't know what's cropping up yet. They've never come across it. Yeah. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also, and to his wife, did the Lord God make coats of skins and clothed them.
So God killed animals.
I mean, you can, in the first version of the creation, he can just speak things into existence or just go, I made it. Doesn't say he used anything for it. So he could just do that again.
But God is inordinately obsessed with meat.
And sacrifice of animals and blood. Such.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, it's also nice to see that Eve finally gets a name.
Yeah. It's the beginning of women's rights. It kind of stagnates for a very long time.
But
But it's the beginning.
like I said, she's the mother of all living, much like Ninta in the Sumerian. Like, there's just so much nicked from other religions, and you can't. It's where, like, especially fundamentalists, like, oh, it's the word of God. It's the inspired word of God. And it was definitely nicked from other people.
I do love the fundamentalists when you get them with two Bible passages that purely contradict each other, and the look on their face is just.
See, I like how God is nice to them here. And they're nice to Cain. He's nice to Cain as well. And then later on, he's just like, fuck everyone. Oh, you made fun of a bald guy. Let's kill him with bears.
Yeah. How many kids was it? Was it 24?
I want to say 42. I'm not sure of the exact number. But it's definitely more than 30.
Yeah, he sent quite a lot of birds down. Got more than children. That man's upset he was bald.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here, he broke the rules. Here's some cuts.
It's almost like somebody else was writing about a fictional character much later on that had nothing to do with the original ones.
Yeah. And I mean, where's the era of forgiveness? Yeah.
Well, there was no forgiveness for the Jews. In Sheol, both the good and the bad went to Sheol. There was no redemption. Because Sheol was just like Hades a little bit. I mean, you didn't float down a river. It was just like another life, but a life that went on forever. And it wasn't any better or any worse. And it was filled with everyone.
It's just kind of life carrying on from the point you were when you died.
Yeah.
Off you go. So, a bit off topic, but if you're following Judaism, it's fine. Be an asshole. Kill everyone. You die, whatever. You're going to carry on as you were, whatever. It's fine. So you could be a twat. At least this one gives you a little bit of fear.
Well, no, because that's what the original idea of hell was that if you had disavowed yourself away from God, that you didn't go to Sheol. You had died. You were dead.
Complete blank.
Yeah. And that's what it meant to be out of the sight of God.
Yeah, but if you kill people, as long as you do it on an altar, it's blood, sacrifice.
Yeah, but God and other people weren't necessarily too pedantic about killing people.
Yeah, I mean, God's probably got the highest kill streak going.
Well, he did kill everyone a couple times.
A couple of times, yeah. Only a few. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know God and evil.
Good and evil.
Sorry. Good and evil. Need new glasses. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever.
See? They were not immortal. They have to eat from the tree of life to become immortal.
Huh.
And God is afraid they're going to do that. Because if they eat from the tree of life, they've already eaten from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So if they eat from the tree of life, they then themselves become gods. One, betraying the fact that, like, there is more than one God to God. He's not the only God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it makes mention of that, of other gods in the Bible.
No, but, like, this here even says that he acknowledges that other people can be gods. Godhood can be attained. It's not just given by birthright or creation right or whatever it is for him, right? And, like, he doesn't want that to happen.
Oh, yeah, because there was other gods that just, you know what you did? You did this on purpose, and we know now.
True, but he's also said, like, the man has become one. The man has become as one of us, unless he put forth his hand and take. So what he's basically saying is that God doesn't actually have that many powers. He doesn't have a lot of overriding powers. Those powers multiply as definitely when you get towards Moses.
Oh yeah.
Right, because throughout a lot of Genesis, aside from his creation powers, he doesn't do a lot of God stuff. He does a lot of talking to people, telling people to do things, getting people to do things in his name, but he doesn't actually use his powers until Moses comes about, and then somebody else is writing it a couple hundred years, like 100,
Yeah.
200, 300 years later or whatever, and then goes, this God isn't God enough, and then starts going, fire tornadoes and plagues and all this stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, in this one, oh, they reached out the hand. No, they've grabbed the fruit. They're eating the fruit. And it's like, God's just got no.
Yeah, but a Christian will just say, well, he was testing them. He was testing them.
Yeah, but according to the Bible, if it's gone, I'm just testing them and they eat the fruit, and they become immortal. Tough. Now you've got 3 gods that's there.
Well, no, the problem with it is that like God already knows the outcome if he's omnipotent. He already knows they're going to fail. He's put them in an unwinnable situation. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah. Which is truly evil. Therefore, the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims. Cherubim.
Yeah, you know what people see cherubim now is like that's a little fat
Oh,
baby.
little cherubs. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a cherubim is a fucking battle angel.
Yeah. And a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. The flaming sword's quite cool.
Well, but it's just imagery, isn't it? You know what I mean? But like, we've explored all of that area, and there's nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, let's just put a guard. Just one. Oh no, it was multiple, sorry, it was plural. Yeah.
So now we'll get on to some of the repercussions of God being a dick.
There's quite a lot.
And God, once again, causing people's deaths.
Which he already knew he was going to do, because he could see the future. And was this the best possible outcome, God, really? Really, I would love to see the other universes.
Well, it's supposed to give the illusion of free will, right? And it's written by people who didn't really understand storytelling to the greatest degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the Epic of Gilgamesh is like one of the first proper stories that we have anyway. And like, it's still not written great.
Yeah.
Even the Sumerian text that we have, it's not written brilliantly. You know what I mean? These are like, you know, people fucking multi-thousand years ago.
Yeah. People with the knowledge of goat herders, but the writing style of Brett Keane. Yeah.
Nobody's going to know who that is.
Well, they could Google it.
No.
And Adam knew Eve, his wife.
He fucked her.
That's
what that means.
All right.
He knew his wife.
So when someone says, "I've come to know you quite well,"
well, but that is actually like, you know, an old age term for fucking, because you know, because otherwise, if you spoke about it properly, you was being, you know,
bringing shame.
Yeah,
and shame's bad,
especially in Christianity.
Yeah, particularly with the Catholics, they love it. Yeah, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, "I have gotten a man from the Lord." She got him from the Lord, but Adam knew her.
Yeah, but it's the start of no matter what people do, it's God's fault. So, you know, like the good things anyway. So a good thing happens, well, that God did it. You know, something bad happens, it's you. You are a heathen, you're a sinner, you are the bad person.
Yeah. There's free will enough for you to be evil, but when you do something good, it was God's plan.
Yeah.
God planned for you to do this. Yeah. But you do something evil. God didn't plan this. You are evil.
Yeah.
And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Next two.
Yeah, and the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou dost well, thou shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
See, I don't get this bit. So, you know, you got Cain and Abel, you've got your farmer, right, and you got your sheep herder, right, and he offers up the animal, and like a lot of people say that, you know, everybody in the Garden of Eden was, you know, everything was a vegetarian. Like we said last time, that kind of not the truth. It tells, oh, you got to grow these plants, to, you know, for these animals to live and everything. But God Himself is like, no, you know, Adam, I'm going to make you tone the ground harder, and you know, and he's very plant centric and farmer centric.
In the beginning, he is, yeah.
Yeah, but this is like, why suddenly does he not care about that anymore?
Yeah, is it not good enough? I mean, he literally sent out, like, you have to till the ground yourself to get your food, like, proper. It's going to be hard now. So he goes and does it, and goes, look, I have brought a bounty of food.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck you. Just, nah, mate.
I'm not happy with this. Nah, send it back. I want a refund.
Like in some translations of the Bible, when it says that Abel, you know, gave up the burnt flesh, it says that God likes the smell.
Ah, yeah. Have you ever burnt the pork crackling? Oh God, it smells lovely.
They can't, the Jews.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, I'll get to that in a bit.
But the thing is like they're
Hello.
the thing with them though is they're this is the start of the lamb narrative. You know, the shepherd and the lamb.
Yeah.
You're all lost lambs. I'm a shepherd finding you. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I'm protecting you. You're my flock.
It doesn't even really give a reason. I think that's one of the most disappointing things I find about this. That God doesn't give a reason for not liking Cain's.
Yeah, it's like when you're reading a story and then someone just hits someone else for no discernible reason in the story, and he's like, "What? Why is this a rivalry now?"
And a lot of, like, you know, they go, "Oh, it's the first murder, right?" And it's like, yeah, it's also the first religiously inspired murder. Because God's like, nah. And like, so if you're on a personal name-to-name fucking basis with God, and then like you and your brother go up to God and go, "Here, God, here's what we've made," right? And like they go, and God like looks at yours and goes, whatever, right? You'd be pissed off.
Yeah, I would be.
And you're not going to take it out on God, are you?
No, you're going to be pissed off. It's going to be visible on your face and your expressions. But the thing is, who worked harder?
Well, no, the God saw did that. You know, why art thou wrath? Why is the countenance false? He's visibly angry, and God's like, well, why are you angry? Why are you angry, bro?
All I said was it's shit.
Yeah. All I said was his is better, and I don't like yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might have.
But because that's the thing, because it's the wording as well, right? But unto Cain and to his offering, he had he had not respect, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just his offering; it's Cain.
Yeah.
There's no respect for Cain in his efforts.
Yeah, he worked the hardest. He brought the bounty to God and said, "Here you go.
Yeah.
Do this." And the woman, you know what? I watched over some sheep. I may have looked after him a little bit, but I was just watching mostly. And ta-da! And he's like, "Yeah, I like that." But you, with all your hard work tilling the ground, then harvesting, you bring it here to my doorstep.
Yeah.
You bring that to my doorstep. Oh, right. Hey. I have read that one, I'm afraid.
No, you haven't. Oh, yeah, you have.
Yeah, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Once again, fucking Columbo here comes up going, Whoa, where's Abel? Where is he?
I don't know. I'm not his keeper.
But you know, the blood on the ground. It's crying out to me that something happened here. Look at it. You see it there, like, once again, God, knowing what's happened, comes up and he's like, so, just one more thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows what's going on.
He does. He did it on purpose. There's no other way. It is on purpose. He inspired that murder, knowing full well that that was what was going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, oh, wait, yes, I've read that. Sorry.
Let me just scroll that up a minute.
Reading that so confidently then. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. And from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me.
So where are these people coming from?
I know.
God creates Adam and Eve. They have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's focused. We lost sight of Adam and Eve for a bit. You know, they've gone off. They've probably made a ton of other babies.
So if you go through, I can't remember if it's the Book of Jubilees. I think it might be. It starts saying that they gave birth to daughters as well, and then the ones that Cain marries, well, that's his sister, and then Seth, who's their 3rd son, he marries one of their sisters, and they had a few kids, and then but the Book of Jubilees was written, hundreds. I can't remember the exact year, but it's definitely a fucking long time afterwards.
Yeah, but there's nothing better than a bit of a incestuously populated Earth, is there?
But what he's so afraid that everyone's going to kill him. But why? Because even aside from the fact there's nobody else,
There's Adam and Eve. Mummy and Daddy are very angry, probably.
No, but it's like he's walking around going, "Oh, everyone I see is gonna, they're just gonna come up and hack at me," and it's like, what? Just because you're paranoid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so paranoid about all these people, all 2 of them and your parents. Just go in that direction and don't stop.
Oh, he does.
Find you.
That he does.
So, behold, thou hast driven me out this day.
You've just read
I've read that. And the Lord said
the fun
unto
of
him-
streaming. You don't get to cut any of this shit out.
Yeah. I like mistakes. They're endearing, I hope. The Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him 7-fold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Read the next one.
Sorry. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden.
So the land of Nod is actually just not Eden. And it's also kind of a pun for vagabond, walkabout, wanderer.
Ah. Yeah, like calling someone a nomad. Oh, you're a nomad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that one got me. It's like the Lord said no one can kill you because they'll get,
Yeah, but again, it's one of the few times that God's being nice with his punishments. He's like, yeah, you got to leave them, right? But, all right, nobody can kill you or they're fucked.
Yeah, but the thing is, anyone who tries to who sees him has to kill him.
But it's also... Yeah, but he thinks that. God doesn't say that.
Ah.
That was Cain being like, oh, shit, what's going to
Everyone's
happen?
going to kill me, but no one
Yeah.
will.
Whereas,
All right, Bill.
yeah, this is also the start of, the... Oh, 7-fold. Never mind, wrong bit. Carry on.
Yeah. So, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived, and bore Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. Now, who was the wife?
Well,
where
like
did
I
she
said,
pop up from?
if you go through the extra text from the book, I think it's the Book of Jubilees. It
Mm.
might be the Book of Enoch. It might be both.
I wouldn't surprise me if they were both.
Adam had more. Adam and Eve had a bunch of daughters as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. I mean, we can cover Jubilees and the Book of Enoch at another time, but just with the birth text from the King James Bible, a wife appears.
Yeah.
Just from nowhere, and then bears a child who builds a whole city with 3 people.
Personally, I think that if it is it's kind of like Adam and Eve are the first Jews and they've come out of wandering in the hunter-gatherer stage.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's just, oh, well, he met some other people that were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I met some very, very early society of humans, That could make sense. I mean, it's never actually mentioned, but it would make sense of where it came from. Suddenly there's a wife. I mean, she's probably got a hairy chin. Each their own.
I didn't get that joke, but whatever. Let's carry on.
No, you know, first hunter-gatherers are very hairy.
No, they weren't.
Were they?
No. We were Homo sapiens. We weren't hairy. We were Homo sapiens.
You're not coated like apes are, but...
Dude, like, Homo sapiens weren't hairy. That was, like, one of our distinguishing facts between us and, like, Homo habilis and erectus and such.
Yeah. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat, I can't pronounce that one,
Mahujael. And Mahujael
begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech, and Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah.
One of the things I always find funny about, especially the Old Testament, is it's all these like old Jewish names, old Sumerian, Babylonian names, and then the important characters. Well, that's Jeremiah,
Here's Luke.
that's Adam, that's Eve. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just suddenly there's these English names that sound nothing and don't have nothing like the structure of any of the other names they're using or any of the sounds.
See, my thoughts on this are names translate from different languages. Like,
I've never understood that though. Why should names translate from different languages?
It's like you go to France and Michael is now Michelle.
Yeah, but I don't understand it. You should be named after the language. People should address you in the like. It confuses me.
Yeah.
It's like Japan's called Nippon. Why don't we just call it Nippon? That's what they call it. It's their fucking country.
Yeah, you get Luke over here, and in France it's Luke. And then you go to like say Poland, and it's Łukasz.
Yeah, but like
they
they full on change the names. Jesus' name isn't Jesus. It's oh shit.
I mean, that would be a better name than Jesus. But...
I've completely forgotten the name. He has a different name, and it doesn't sound like Jesus.
We can always come back to that point later. If you don't remember.
No, look it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think what they've done is they've translated some of the names.
No, I don't think they have. I think that the English, when England became, or Britain or whatever became, this god country that's going around doing all that, just went, no, we'll just call them English names now.
Yeah, I suppose it's easier for them to pronounce, as you can see from me trying to pronounce.
Yeah, but it doesn't. No. It's connecting your standing with what you are to the Bible, and see the important people, right, named after us.
Yeah.
Like my name's Zachary, right, which comes from Zachariah, which comes from Zekiah, which is the thingy one, the Jewish version. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My name's Fag, and that comes from faggot.
Plus, Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Yes.
Well, that's it's not even similar.
Also, well, we're gonna have to speed up a little bit because we've been on an hour. I would not have this first bit. But final point on this. This is the start of them. No, we're going to build credibility through naming all these names, this line of people.
Yeah.
So then eventually, when they go, well, Seth had this, oh, look, it lines up with Jesus. Honest, wink, wink. If you don't look at the different, because there's a few different bits where they try and say, well, this person begat this person, and this person begat this person, and it fucks up a few times.
Yeah, but they're trying to get a lineage sorted. This is a timeline of people being born.
Well, it's also trying to give themselves credibility.
I mean, a lot of religions fail in that department, but they try, and that's the point.
Well, Christianity and Judaism try a lot harder than all the other ones do, because like if you're a Buddhist, it's just like, well, he sat under a tree. It's fine. You either care or you don't. We're okay with that, unless you're like in Pakistan or whatever. And then like the Muslims are like, well, there's Muhammad. We have proof of Muhammad. That's enough, right? And the Hindus are like, did you make up your own gods? Come on in, it's fine. Just make them up, whatever. Just you got to worship these three, right? Just worship these three, and then just worship whoever you want. We've got thousands of them. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's much more inclusive.
Yeah.
There's another name I don't have to pronounce. An Ada Bar Jabal. Or Jabal.
Jubal.
Jabal. He was the father of such as dwells in tents, and such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal, and his father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zilla,
Not Godzilla.
she also bare
Tubal-Cain.
interesting name, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron, and the sister of Tubal-Cain was Nama.
Is that actually the name from Enki? I don't know, can't remember. Continue.
And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech.
Hearken. We use that word today.
Yeah, but we don't have the E in it.
We do.
Not the first E.
Whatever.
Yeah. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man into my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God said, She hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. Which is nice of him, I suppose. Yeah. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos, and began men to call upon the name of the Lord.
Yay. So we finished that chapter. But it's nice to see that they got the revenge eventually. So we had to waste some time to do that, because that's how you get the real authenticity of a story, isn't it? You tie up some loose ends that weren't really loose ends to begin with.
A loose end that you said, no, you shouldn't really kill him. No one should kill him. He's going to kill him. I know he's going to kill him.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do it. But you are. Yeah.
Right. So
all powerful, all knowing God.
There's the fun of Adam and Eve. We're nearly at the end of Adam and Eve though.
Yeah.
We start getting into some of the other crazy characters like Moses.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun because there's loads of flood myths, loads of them.
Oh, there's just so much about the flood you can just dissect and just go, here, look at all the fakery and lies.
Well, it's not even that. Like, there's a good chance that the flood story did actually come from an actual flood. Like, you know, the Chinese, they have their own flood myth. That's how China was created.
Yeah, that one may
that,
actually be true though. About
yeah, with taming the Yellow River and everything. It could have been a big flood in Mesopotamia. If I'm remembering correctly, it could have had something to do with the King's Zarathustra, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. There's a bunch of flood myths from a bunch of different places.
Oh yeah. But this one's the funniest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I've seen the film.
Do you know what? I haven't.
You know what? It's not that bad of a film.
I don't know. I just don't want to see Russell Crowe in things.
I know. Or
well, to be fair, he was like the only good thing about Man of Steel, so I suppose I should cut him some slack occasionally.
Yeah, I suppose so.
No, I shouldn't. He's a prick.
Yeah, I don't like things with Russell Crowe in generally, but no, it wasn't bad.
I don't know. From what I heard about it, it seemed to be more about what's it called? Climate change more than actually like, you know, the Noah. That's just what I've been told.
They've had to over dramatise the story to make it interesting.
Well, it can't be as bad as Evan Almighty. I mean, there's your Noah story.
Yeah, I mean that was.
There's a dam. The dam broke. Whatever.
Yeah, because you know God's speaking in riddles. There's going to be a flood. It's going to be a little area, and this little flatland, and you're going to turn up at the city hall. And I didn't mind Evan Almighty so much.
It's because you have a bad taste in films.
Yeah. So everything I said about Noah, please just disregard it.
All right. Should we get on to the next bits?
Yeah, we've got some very funny and interesting things, and sometimes angering.
Yeah, we decided we'll cover videos as well because just the Bible gets boring. It gets tedious.
It does. It's like when you've got through like a series of novels and you've got to like the middle book and they've run out of ideas temporarily.
It's like, come on,
this is that book.
the inspired word of the Almighty God that knows everything, can be everywhere, can do everything. You'd think would be a bit more exciting.
I know. I mean, we're going to cover it in a little bit with one of the segments, but it's, you know, the inspired word of God. And some people believe, you know, God gave us like, you know, thoughts that we shouldn't have had at that time. We weren't advanced enough. So the definitely, it seems like the word of God is in the Bible. We wouldn't have known about this. He put that in there. But why couldn't he have put some other things in there? Something interesting. Come on, talk about robots.
Well, since anything from the future would have been nice.
Yeah, anything.
But since we've just started this, I thought I'd pull a video that was pretty much. I should change that. Oh my God, it's all gone wrong. So I thought first I should see. It's got noises and everything. It's one of those. I'm new at streaming. You're all gonna have to deal with how shit this is being. I'll get better at it eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually. No, I want to show in my screen. There we go. It's decided to all mess up at once. That's what I like to see.
Don't worry, we're going to fire the tech guy. We don't have a tech guy, but I'm going to hire one so we can fire them.
I'm the tech guy.
I can't fire you. You're very important to this.
So let's start with this bullshit, shall we?
This one's a mind boggler, be warned.
Hello! Today I'm going to give an argument with the conclusion that all atheists should delete their channels and stop criticizing Christianity. Now the point of this video isn't actually to cause that to happen, rather, I just think that there's actually a strong argument for that conclusion, and I'm honestly just curious to see where an atheist would disagree with that argument's train of logic.
I thought of an idea that might make people occasionally shut off the channels for being an idiot, so I thought I'd put it out there just in case they would do. You know what I mean? If you throw enough shit at the wall, eventually it'll stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't really want them to delete the channels, but you know.
Here's my reasonable argument why they should.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen.
But you know, if you did, it definitely wouldn't go on this. It definitely wouldn't go on this.
I mean, we'd really appreciate it because, you know, we can't defend ourselves from all the arguments that are correct.
Jenny Bell.
So,
They obviously have to if they're going to keep their channel up. Now let's start by looking at Pascal's wager. We're trying to maximize utility, which means we're trying to see which courses of action maximizes good for us. The decision we're looking at is whether we should wager on Christianity. The amount of utility we get by wagering on Christianity is the product of the probability of Christianity being true and the utility received by being a faithful Christian, which is infinity because a Christian will go to heaven, plus the product of the probability that Christianity is false and the utility received by being a deluded Christian. That totals to infinity. The amount of utility we get by not wagering on Christianity is the product of the probability of Christianity being true and the utility received by being an incorrect non-Christian, plus the product of the probability that Christianity is false and the utility received by being a correct non-Christian. That totals to negative infinity. So the action which is better for us is obviously to wager on Christianity.
What? Right.
First off, I must point out why is the being correct about atheism? Like it's one. Just one. Where did he get this random number?
Because he pulled numbers out of his ass that would make his equation make him look correct. But his equation doesn't even make him look correct because the probability of Christianity being real isn't 1.
Yeah. But also, like the infinity is in there in the original wager. Oh, it's infinite, not utility, but infinite reward or...
Yeah, but like that reward, we don't even know what the reward of heaven is.
Yeah.
So like, there's a verse that says, "But heaven's just like a mansion with lots of rooms." And there's another one that says like a city, and then Revelation goes, "Oh, it's got pearly gates and all this shit and everything," right? But the thing is as well is like they used to think, well, is it the heaven that's like the sky, right? Because that was the heavens, but then the stars were their own heaven, and there was the ethereal heaven that God was from. So which heaven is it? But the idea that the infinite utility of heaven is stupid anyway, because like what causes this utility? Is it just existing?
Oh yeah, it's the infinite reward of being in heaven.
But what if the infinite reward of heaven is just being sat around?
Yeah.
Just like being fixated on God all the time and doing nothing but worshipping him.
What is mistaken here is the infiniteness of time and what you're going to get for that length of time. You're going to be there infinitely, but you might only get one thing.
But no, see, the problem, but there's a further problem with that. It's like, so a lot of Christians like to say that God is out of time and space, right?
Yeah.
So how can you have infinite time when there is no time? It's not infinite. It doesn't exist.
They don't think about these things when they're talking about, Pascal's wager. They don't think about these things. So that God is out of time is only convenient when you start saying that there is infinite time before and infinite time yet to come.
But but also there's plenty of utility that is not good, that is given out by Christianity. So, when you believe in Christianity, you're also more likely to be right wing. You're also more likely to want to be in the army. You're also more likely to kill people. You're more likely to end up in prison. There's a lot of things that come with being a Christian, right? And some of them are even caused by Christianity. You know what I mean? You have to go out and kill the unbeliever, or this place is persecuting my fellow Christians too much, so we have to go kill people. And that's negative. That's not good.
Yeah, it's easily provable that still happens today with mass shootings. That where was the one in Norway? Was it Norway?
With Anders Breivik.
Anders Breivik. That's the one. There you go.
Yeah, onward Christian soldiers.
Yeah, and that guy is going to heaven. Fought for God.
But because it's using Pascal's wager, it's going, well, God, it could be real. It could be real. So why not? And it's like
the entire argument is based on there's this tiny, tiny chance that it could be real, and you'll get infinite everything forever. So you may as well. Because they run out of proper arguments that say you should be a Christian. But
it's the best kind of salesman though that goes, oh well, as long as you do this, you'll get this after you die.
I saw another video on Pascal's wager. Is that as long as you go to church once, just once, that's you buying in.
Well, no, see, that sort of thing is something I'm going to touch on later in the video when it starts actually going into Pascal wager and not just like kind of maths. Because the other thing is right. So infinites are not all the same size. Infinity is a concept. It's not a number, right? So there is an infinite amount of numbers between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And there's an infinite amount of numbers between 4 and 6. But the infinite amount of numbers between 4 and 6 is bigger than the infinite amount of numbers between 4 and 5.
It might not necessarily be double, but there's definitely more.
So, what size infinites are we looking at here?
We don't know, and he never goes into it. And then...
Because the thing is if those infinites aren't exactly the same...
Paradox.
Wasn't it? It's not a paradox.
Oh, it will be.
You're still left with infinity.
The way he does it, it is.
It's not a paradox, though. So, if I take the infinity between 4 and 6, right, and subtract it by the infinity between 4 and 5, right, I'm still left with the infinity between 5 and 6. So, unless going to heaven is exactly the same amount of utility as going to hell, as the negative utility, unless they're exactly the same, which they aren't.
No. But also, when you... We'll carry on with the video, because he does some terrible maths. And it just got...
That's the argument in a nutshell. I have severe problems with this argument. Firstly, there are other religions besides Christianity.
I just want to point out here, he's doing some nice leading the people to think down, because again, with Christians, you have a script you have to go through, because you have to play these language games and different stuff, and then so what he's trying to do is put out the possible things that an atheist might say to make you think along those lines, like, what about the other gods? What about the next one and the one after that and the one after that? Instead of actually thinking about the real flaws in his argument that aren't just necessarily those.
Here are the questions that I have prepared you to ask. So when you ask them, I have the answers.
But he's prompting you to ask those questions. He's basically begging a question.
I mean, I am tempted to answer these.
Well, of course, but the thing is, he goes on about the solutions to some of these, and they're just ridiculous.
Oh yes.
A Muslim could just as effectively use Pascal's wager to argue for Islam. Secondly, wagering on Christianity appears to involve the actual belief that Christianity is true. But whether I like it or not, I am not convinced by the arguments for Christianity. Therefore, it seems that I simply am unable to wager on Christianity. And even if I could, it seems immoral or otherwise impermissible to change my beliefs on the basis of how much it helps me, rather than on the basis of evidence. And another point, would God even want me to believe in him purely on the basis of selfish motivations? That seems hardly likely. So Pascal's wager, despite its attempts to push me towards Christianity, ultimately fails.
See, I like how the guy is drawn as like a little Heisenberg, because, you know, all the atheists,
Yeah.
they have the little fedoras or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We all have fedoras. We all bake meth in a van somewhere. You know.
Well, no, the fedora's not. It's like you've taken that.
He said
far.
Heisenberg. Sorry.
Yeah, because he looks like
Yeah.
Heisenberg with that hat, right? But also, the fedora is more of a slanderous thing against, you know, the debate me bro people and stuff like that.
Mm.
You know, milady and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what I have a problem with every point that he's brought up there are good arguments against them. But all I could think of is, you know, wagering is immoral. You can't do something for that reason.
Yeah, but the thing he's forgotten, right? The thing is that he's trying to point everyone away from is that, like, we have proof, well, tangible proof that heaven doesn't exist, because, you know, people die and then come back to life all the time, and not everyone says that anything happened. A lot of people say, and it just nothing happened. It was like I was asleep.
It was like a blank infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, and if you take the Genesis that we read last week, where it was saying how he parted the waters to make heaven the upper one, and you know, the darker space was down below and earth was in the middle. Heaven should be here. And then we've gone up that far and found it's not water or heaven. And the further we look, the further away heaven.
Yeah, but that's why Tower of Babel was a thing, right? Because the Tower of Babel wasn't just to say why people speak all the different languages, right? It was also to go, don't try and get to heaven.
Yeah, don't disprove this. We know it's a lie.
I mean, back then I doubt it was about disproving it, but you know, it was a warning about trying to go that far.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna try and explain some of these away. We can respond to that.
Oh, definitely.
I actually think that those are valid criticisms of Pascal's wager, and I could totally understand why it may fail to push you to Christianity. However, it seems that Pascal's wager can stop an atheist from pulling people out of Christianity. Here's my thinking. How much utility does a Christian have on average?
Do you know what?
Well,
before he goes into that, I just like, well, if it's just an argument to keep people into Christianity, then they're gullible idiots. But what if you're wrong? If that's the only thing keeping you in your religion, like, seriously, you've been brainwashed from a young age, and you're afraid of ghost stories and fairy tales that fucking your parents and your preacher told you from a very young age, and it's become ingrained in there, right?
Yeah.
I became an atheist when I was like 13. I still occasionally go at the idea of hell because it was so fucking hammered into me when I was a Baptist. You know what I mean?
Hammered into me. Luckily.
As a Baptist, it was all fucking fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
And comparing clothing.
It wasn't hammered into me. I had a better time of it than that. But it's like, yeah, it's all about keeping Christians in religion, because we've got to keep the fear, though. So we've got to keep him in there. So here's your imaginary friend. He loves you. Here's your imaginary enemy. Love him. Or he gets you.
Yeah.
Fear, 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 fear. And all it is fear of losing something you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, it's just that I'm selling you something you're not going to get till you die, but trust me, you're definitely going to get it. You know, and you have to wait till you die, because then, you know, you can't give it a testimonial.
The audience isn't a further. Send the plate round. Get the money.
Yeah.
It's a product of the probability that Christianity is true, and the infinite reward they would get for being a Christian. Coolio. Now, if they deconvert, how much utility do they have now? Well, they do have some utility. I mean, they don't need to get up early on Sunday mornings or anything, but their utility is now merely finite. They lost that on average infinite utility that they previously had.
No. And they also, like, started to, you know, enjoy life for what it is, instead of trying to placate a person they've never spoke to, met, or seen, to possibly get something that other people have promised them.
We're talking in terms of utility, as I say, merely finite. But it is correct, it is merely finite, but it's probably a little bit more than what Christians generally have.
But also, you'd learn that, you know, because life is finite, then life is to be cherished and not to be, you know, used as just a test to get into heaven.
Yeah, I think that's something that's worth looking up. Midlife crises, because I wonder if you're more likely to have one if you're a Christian when you start realizing shit. This is it.
From what I've read about midlife crisis, it's more just like you stop feeling the invulnerable. This is going to go on forever that you do when you're a teenager and in your 20s.
Yeah, you feel the grip on the mortal coil slightly, just a little, and it shakes you.
Because there's a big change from being 20 odd to 30 odd, because you suddenly start going, well, that 30's next is 40. You know what I mean? When you're in your 20s, you still got buffers to certain ages.
Yeah, you've got milestones that are, proud achievements for some.
Yeah.
I've made it to 18, I've made it to 21, I've made it to 25.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, I'm 30.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm 35. Fuck, I'm 40, I better buy a boat.
But but understanding that how, precious life is, because you're just a chemical reaction that like can experience things, right? And because of that, you start like going, oh, actually, I'm going to start liking this more, and I'm starting to pay attention to this more, and everything. And you're not constantly just giving away every second of your life to trying to appease, an absentee father figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's like you're always trying to, like, your dad, he plays baseball and he's traveling, throughout the baseball season and all this stuff all year because they play every day, and he's just he's always away, right? And you get to see him in the news, and you go, oh, he did really well, and you're living vicariously that way. It's all being a Christian is.
Yeah.
It actually gives your life more meaning, and it's not merely finite. It is infinite, because that infinity is your life, right? And there's an infinite amount of time between when you're born and when you die, right? Just like there's an infinite amount of numbers between 4 and 5. And that, like, it just annoys me so much.
But yeah, the assumption that you've got infinite utility as a Christian is stupid, because you're assuming heaven is correct, and it's just no.
Yeah, it's the thing that it keeps on like kind of avoiding. Like, it'll mention it when you're an atheist, so you don't believe it's real. But like, just if the idea that heaven is real, like most of the Bible doesn't even think that heaven is real. Most of the Bible follows the idea that you're going to Sheol, right? Which isn't heaven. It's just another life. And you go there with the good people and the bad people. So,
off you go, carry on.
But Jesus said, but Paul said other things, right? And people follow Paul and not fucking Jesus.
Which is stupid for a religion called Christianity that's based on Jesus.
No, but that's why Paul is probably the best scammer ever. Oh, I went blind in the desert. Oh God, Jesus has come to me. I shall mold this religion into my views.
So the transition from Christian to non-Christian has a net utility on average of negative infinity. To put that in perspective, torturing someone for 1,000 years has a negative but finite utility. It doesn't even remotely compare to negative infinite utility. So if a YouTube channel tends to cause deconversions, then it promotes negative infinite utility. If I knew my YouTube channel tended to cause people to be tortured for thousands of years, I would delete it right away.
It wasn't thousands of years, but I was tortured for quite a few minutes.
I don't even think that you get tortured for thousands of years. As an atheist, why would you think that you're sending people, like deconverting people, is sending people to hell? You don't think it exists?
I know. And from their point of view, the deconversion sends people to hell, so that you should delete your channel. It's like, your imaginary enemies are not real.
Yeah. Like, your Satan is your Satan. He's not real. You know what I mean? Satanists don't even believe in Satan. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's just, we're atheists, so we must automatically. A lot of Christians mistake atheist for misotheist, where they hate God, and they know he exists, they just hate him, and it's like, he's not real, and still hate him. Well, you can't hate a fictional character. Of course you can.
Yeah, you can. You can.
I hate Joffrey.
You're not alone.
I hate Arwen, right? I hate the Daenerys, right? And there's plenty of literary figures that aren't real that I can't fucking stand.
Yep, because they've usually been written so well.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that they could just be terrible characters, right?
Yeah.
But my point is that you can hate fictional things. It's quite easy to hate fictional things.
Oh yeah.
People do it all the fucking time. Next time a bad Superman film comes out, or next Batman film that's really bad, right? And they go, oh, I hate that Batman. I'm sorry, you can't hate fictional characters.
I think you'll find so.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If suddenly you can't hate fictional characters until it's like anything other than God.
Yeah, when it's God, you can't hate that because you don't believe in him. I hate the idea of God. because I believe it to be corrupting
No,
and
but
stupid.
no, but see, the thing is, right, is they think because they're told by stupid videos like this, or stupid movies like God's Not Dead or whatever, that atheists act in this way, and you can easily stump them with these stupid little rhetorical things, like like what's the stupid what's the argument with all the worlds?
The multiverse theory.
No. There's a Christian one about why God must exist.
Oh, because if there's an infinite number of universes, then God must exist in
One of them.
because anything is possible.
Yeah, but it's like a 5 or 10 step series of questions, right? And you have to go through all of them, and then they go, "See, God must exist then," because they think that these stupid rhetorical devices are going to make you believe in it when it doesn't, right? It's like when they go, "Oh, well, the fool said it hath said in his heart." Was it?
There is no God.
And it's like that doesn't convince anyone. It only makes religious people feel better because they're like, "Well, I'm not a fool."
You're a fool.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, you don't believe, so I'm going to kill you. So I don't see what the fool was about, to be honest, because the threat of death is a bit more extreme than the threat of being called a fool. Oh well, but yeah. I don't know. Just carry on.
You said something, but you said you wanted to mention something about the math, didn't you?
He's not got to the math yet.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I can't tell because it's all weird math to begin with.
Thus, if a channel tends to cause deconversions, it should be wiped off the internet as soon as possible. That's all very interesting, but what about those objections we raised earlier? Will they stop this version of Pascal's wager? Well, no. Let's start with the many gods objection. This doesn't help the atheists out at all, but it can help out other religions, like, say, Islam. Muslims can continue trying to convert Christians just fine. They believe that their religion will lead people to paradise. So Muslims trying to convert Christians or vice versa are just individuals who are trying to improve the chances of the other at getting infinite utility. The atheist, on the other hand, is just trying to tear down everyone's chances at infinite utility. Now,
once again, assuming that atheists fucking believe in hell, that we're just trying to deconvert these people, right, and prove that God doesn't exist so that everyone can go to hell, right? But even the idea, like if Muslims and Jews and Christians are trying to deconvert each other into the other religion, well, that's fine because then they go into that heaven. So is there lots of heavens then? Does every religion actually get its own heaven and hell? If that's the case, right, then everybody gets what they think, don't they? So if they get what they think, really, it's not that bad, right? So, but then also it's like, well, if you're in Islam, you believe in Muhammad. If you're a Jew, it's Moses and Abraham, right? They all do, but them specifically for the Jews, and then Christians to Jesus. But if you don't believe in them in those religions, they go into hell anyway. And then like, oh, you're a Christian. Oh, well, which Christian are you? Are you a Methodist? Are you a Mormon? Are you a Catholic? Are you a Jehovah's Witness? Are you a Seventh-day Adventist? They're like, which denomination? Because if you're not the right denomination, you don't go to heaven. So which one is it?
Yeah, it's just like there's too many different religions.
But
just within Christianity, just different sects of the religion.
The mean old atheist is just trying to break down all the religious walls. You know what I mean? He just wants all the religious people to go to hell. And it's like, no, I want fucking people to stop being religious so we can actually, do right by ourselves and the planet instead of just going, well, I can pump whatever into the air, into the water, because God says, the world's never going to end until he ends it, so it's all fine.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, I don't have to care about this. I don't have to care about the gays, or I don't have to care about this person over here, or whatever tribe that your fucking preacher is telling you to not like, just because God doesn't like them, right? Instead, maybe we could just all realize that life is finite. We don't go on to anywhere after we die. Maybe we should just make life fucking enjoyable for everyone and get on with it.
No. They'll go back to the Bible. What we should do is visit the sins of the father on the kids. So we'll destroy the planet and make the kids have to live in it and then die in it.
See, but the thing I just said, right? How is that not negative utility for theists, right? So if there is no heaven, right, and then you're dragging all these people to be believers, then doesn't that mean you're taking away everybody's utility to have a decent life?
Yeah. Because they think they're having a decent life, but what they're doing is they're spending every Sunday in church going, hello, best friend up there that I've never met, that never answers, and has never shown me an iota of proof that you're there. Me again.
No. See, but the thing is, it's not just Sundays, right? You pray to him every night. You pray to him in the morning. You pray to him during the day. You stub your toe. You have trouble at work. You have trouble with friends. You're always praying to God, just constantly going, God, 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 help me, help me, help me, help me. Right? And then they just expect God to fix everything for them, and they don't do it for themselves.
Yeah, or something's wrong, and you know, you got a health issue. You should really go to the doctor. But you know what? You know what I'll do? I'm going to go see the pastor. The pastor will point me in the right direction.
Jehovah's Witnesses are really bad for that. Really bad for that. My nan, is got outcast from her church a little bit because she had bypass surgery from smoking, and they're like, you can't do that. You can't have blood transfusions, and you can't do medical things because they're a fucking weird cult.
Is it because your body is a temple? But if the walls are crumbling on your temple, what do you do? Let it collapse, or do you fix the temple because it's supposed to?
No, you let it collapse because then it takes you to God.
Yeah.
Why
don't they all just collapse?
Let's do my faith healing. Come on, let's go meet the preacher in the tent. He says you can heal you, but you need to put the money in the tray first.
You see, the thing is though, a lot of religious people are they're fearful of death, but they're gonna get infinite utility when they die. So what is the point of being scared to die?
It's one of the things that I'm pretty sure it's Christopher Hitchens. One of my favorite Christopher Hitchens quotes. They believe in God so much that they look both ways when they cross the street, don't they?
Oh yeah.
they're so sure of God's plan that they look both ways.
Yeah, not quite as bad as me, an atheist who looks both ways in a one-way road. But people are generally stupid.
It's because you're of a lower standard of person, but we'll get into that another time.
The Bible's
Oh,
been
what
keep-
has happened? Well, there's a spoiler for what's coming up next.
Accusations.
What about the objection that you can't choose your beliefs? Well, that's obviously not a problem. The Christians, who would have otherwise been deconverted, already believe in Christianity. So you aren't being forced to choose a belief. What the atheist needs to choose is just clicking the delete channel button. That's totally something you could choose. Now, what about the objection that wagering is more...
I like how just quickly he just goes past that.
Yeah.
Just believe, man. Just believe. Like, you can't choose what you can believe. Like, because, you're just choosing the, But the thing is, right, I chose to believe in to believe that God isn't real enough, that actually I thought I should make a channel to talk about it and spread what I think and the things that I've studied and looked into enough because I believe it. You know what I mean? So I didn't just wake up and go, do you know what? This Baptist life is a bit much. Maybe I should be an atheist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I was a kid, my grandma was Catholic, and she was a devout Catholic. She never preached. Never ever preached. Great woman. But everyone else in the family was different churches that they chose. Never went to church. Never prayed. Nothing. But they
Most
chose to
Christians
believe
don't.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They chose to believe in that. Me, I went for I can't remember there was a little tiny little pocket Bible they came around with, and I think it was the King James version. And so yeah, I'll believe in this for a bit, and then the more you read, the less I believed. I'm like, this is getting a bit bullshit now. I used to be feared of farting in the direction of heaven, but now,
Well, it's it's saying you can't choose what you believe, so it doesn't matter. Even though he's saying before, well, Pascal's wager is really good at keeping people in Christianity, right? But that isn't choosing what you believe. That's going, actually, this doesn't sound right to me.
yeah. If this doesn't sound right, please look at this this wager that's not really actually very useful. It's just, hey, I believe because you may as well.
I mean, if you could choose to believe better things than Christianity anyway, wouldn't you?
I'd probably choose something that was a little less fire and brimstone.
Dudism. There you go.
I don't know.
It's just like your opinion, man.
Church of Bacon, or the Pastafarianism. There you go. Nice modern religions for modern
Touched
people.
by his noodly appendage. I found out there's actually holy books for Pastafarianism. I don't want to get them.
Oh, you know what? That's a religion I could get behind just simply because it would annoy other people. Hell, Sam's lit though. Didn't get it because fire. I'll see myself out. No, don't. We need the viewers.
I mean, you don't have to read you don't have to read out loud every comment. But it was pretty good.
Oh yeah. No, please take them back.
You'll be fucked if we actually start getting loads of viewers, then it's just going by and it's like, I can't read them all.
Oh no, at that point we'd have to have someone sat at the side that'll just copy and paste the odd comment and just say, yeah, you could read these.
No, but
few
that's
out.
what super chats are for.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, pay us money. Pay us money or I'm ignoring you.
I don't know if that's probably a blessing.
Yeah, I'll pay it back.
No, you won't. lost my train of thought. You interrupted me, and what was I saying?
Oh, we're on about Pascal's wager not being useful for keeping people in religion. It's
Oh, that was it. I was choosing my own religion. Actually, do you know what I'd choose? Discordianism. So it's like I think it's a part of Pastafarianism or one of those atheist religions. I can't remember which one. And basically, the whole thing is just like every time you disagree with another believer, you have a schism and create your own version of Discordianism.
Yeah. Everyone has their own view of it.
You like
Everyone has
tea?
their own.
No, I like coffee. Schism.
Yeah.
It's a religion wholly made on schisms.
Yeah.
Great.
Pineapple on pizza. Schism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a schism for the people who do.
I'd love to go to a group. I'd love to go to a place where there was just a group of like these people just like fucking getting pissed, just fucking causing schisms every.
I must
2
say
seconds.
though, one thing that pisses me off about a lot of YouTube theists is they believe that atheists are devout atheists. That we are a religion. We're not. There's just we don't generally. I mean, some people do come together for it, and and they have what they think is a religion of atheism, but it's just people just don't believe.
See, the thing is that I kind of agree with the Christians on that. It is a religion. A religion is just a standard. It's just a view of the world and living by that standard of the world.
Yeah.
And like the different kind of atheists, whether you're purely logic and science driven, maybe you're not necessarily an atheist, maybe you're kind of agnostic more than you are atheist, because there's the atheists that are like, well, I can't prove it's real, but and then there's the atheists that are like, oh no, it's definitely it's all bullshit, and then you got the anti-theists and stuff. There's all these little denominations. Like religion doesn't just necessarily like we have people that we hold in higher regard, like a lot of people like Dawkins or Hitchens or Dennett or like all them Four Horsemen. There's like some of the newer ones. Like there's people who like the Amazing Atheist TJ a lot. There's like newer people like Genetically Modified Skeptic that people listen to, or like Paul G and stuff like that. There's or like Matt Dillahunty. There is a lot of these similarities between the figures. You know what I mean?
There is, but they treat it like it's its own religion, and I don't agree that it is. It's a viewpoint on the world that is no God.
Right, but it does.
It might be a shared view,
but it's a shared view that leaves people to certain conclusions and stuff like that, and that's kind of what religion does. It doesn't necessarily have like this big long holy book with a fantastical story. But like we all go off science, and it's got this fantastical story at the beginning.
I mean, if you think about it, it does have a fantastical story to be
But
honest.
like, what is
Big Bang?
But the thing is like, what is wrong with the idea of a religion of truth, of like what things actually are?
Oh, because telling the truth is bad, because then people learn things. We don't want that. And back in the days of or the early days of the Bible being
No, I know, but we're talking about now.
But in the now, I suppose it's similar things. They don't like people being smart.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have holidays and stuff like that, but like there are ideals that we find more sacrosanct and stuff like that than like truth and logic and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and that's a very but again, it's different for each kind of atheist, and the atheists do fit into different groups that are pretty much like denominations.
True. There's a few groups of atheists out there that nothing can like whip them into a vicious frenzy, quite like seeing a Jehovah's Witness go, "My child has to die." My blood boils when I see that has happened, where a child had to die because it couldn't have a blood transfusion, and it was a simple process; it would have lived, and the child had to die because my religion says so. I'm one of those. I'm in that bunch.
Yeah, because it's stupid and shitty, and
oh yeah, I foam at the mouth. Are
you sure that's not just the cum?
I'm pretty certain. I'm not one to keep it there lingering.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you enjoy a gargle.
No. The bubbles are hard to swallow. It makes it burp a bit, and then it comes up in foam.
Hey, that's not that's not my field.
I'm making it up as I go along, but it sounds genuine, and that's horrifying now.
Right, let's underail this.
Yeah, let's underail this. We went a bit off track, but you know what? I think we proved him wrong on that point that he skipped over.
Moral. Modifying it slightly for the new wager, an atheist might say, I'm obligated to tell people what I see as true and to promote truth.
Yeah.
Thus my channel, which teaches the truth of atheism, should stay up, no matter what damage it causes.
What damage can
It's
it
not
cause?
the truth of atheism. It's the truth of science. Science! that one method has informed us of so much of everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's why God of Christianity is just turned into the God of the gaps. He was all powerful, he did everything, and then it's like, oh well, actually, this created this. well, really, the Earth wasn't created by God. It was created by an accretion disk around the Sol. You know what I mean? And then oh well, God created everything. Well, actually, it was probably this like big explosion that happened, everywhere.
4.5 billion years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found this out by making a prediction, trying to disprove that prediction, and going, oh, we couldn't disprove that prediction, right? So we'll modify it this way. Oh, we didn't do it that either. So then, actually, if this happens, that means that then we can predict this. Oh, that did happen. Oh, it looks like we're correct. And now we have TVs and Wi-Fi, and we can send people into space. We can send probes to Mars and on like meteors, and we're not living, in the fucking medieval period anymore, like having a hard time making nails and a blacksmith.
Or Dark Ages.
We've made 3D printers and holograms and electricity and
antibiotics.
everything. We can successfully cut into people, remove organs. We can grow new ones in 3D printers.
Yeah.
We can make lab-grown meat. We've created fusion.
There's so much that we've done, and religion just goes, you know what? No. It's not God.
No. That's the problem. That's one of my main problems with all these religious fucks is they go, oh well, science doesn't like disprove the Bible, and it's not really done much. But I'll just look on my iPhone, right, to look up my facts on Answers in Genesis. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna find some harsh truths on there.
Yeah.
They're not, good, but whatever.
But yes, and the other thing is, the atheist goes, I'm obligated to teach the truth. You feel obligated to teach the truth. All the people that like to proselytize for whatever worldview they have, they feel obligated to teach their truth. Mm-hmm. It's just ours is based in empirical fact and not, fucking rhetorical questions, flowery language in books written fucking 2,000 plus years ago.
Yeah. But every religion has its own truth that it's trying to preach, including atheism. Atheism has its own truth that it's trying to preach.
Yeah.
You're just angry at ours because ours goes factual inaccuracy there.
Yeah.
Factual inaccuracy there.
The scientific viewpoint has brought about the disproving of so many religious things more than any other religion's disproved another religion. It's ridiculous.
Yep. And that's why you don't like it when atheists decide that they're
so look, you're harming everyone. You're sending everyone to hell with your stupid channel. You've got 2 people watching, maybe a lot. I don't know. We don't, but other people do. And look at them all. It's not even like these people are like. It's not even like Christians are really listening to atheists on YouTube. We're all mainly talking to each other, just going, I know more about this than you do. You know what I mean?
One guy last week who decided to pop in and ask a question, what's your alternative to God? He left. Once
I did shout at him a bit then.
Yeah, once you've got to a point where you can't win the argument, whether you're anonymous, you can just leave and there's no embarrassment, so whatever.
Right,
yeah,
let's
carry on.
Now, while it's true that there is a moral obligation to teach the truth, there's also a moral obligation to not decrease other people's utility. Take the example of Jim. Jim believes that the millionth digit of pi is 7. That's factually incorrect. But because of aliens or a mad scientist or whatever, it turns out that if you correct that belief, he'll be tortured for 1,000 years.
So the aliens that are telling him that the millionth digit of pi is 7, right, also tell him that people who believe the millionth digit is 8, right, you need to go and burn and kill them.
I think what I was going to say is the millionth digit, he believes it's 7, but it's not, and you tell him the truth.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying what religion also is yes, those aliens are telling this man that the millionth digit is 7, right? But because they know this, they have this supreme higher power, right, of knowing that this digit, what it is, right? They're also telling that you must be subservient to them in all their whims and wills, right? And those people over there, they don't think the millionth digit is 7, right? So you need to go and stab them and kill them and hang them from trees, right? So, yes, you have your utility of not being burned alive, right? But what about the people that you are inflicting yourself upon? What about them? That's the bit they're missing out of this, which is, that's the only thing you need to worry about in this equation. He's not telling him anything else. He's just telling him that the millionth digit of pi is 7, right? So you making him burn for telling him the correct answer, well, that's infinitely cruel, right?
Yeah.
But really, that's not what religion is. Religions also go, see them over there, we don't like them, do away with them. That's it's like when people go, oh, well, Hitler was an atheist. He was a fucking Catholic.
He was backed by the Catholic Church.
Yes, he was. Because they were like, yes, kill the Jews, because if we kill enough of the Jews, Armageddon will happen, and the rapture will happen, and we'll all go to fucking heaven, right? That's why there's lots of Christians over in Israel now trying to cause a fucking giant war in Medina. Is it not Medina? That's the wrong place.
You're on about Gaza.
No. There's an actual specific place in Israel.
Oh, the Medigo Plains.
Yeah, Megiddo.
Megiddo.
Yeah, they want them to fight in Megiddo, so then the rapture can happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need the ginger bull.
In this case, it seems immoral, very immoral actually, to teach Jim the truth. So there are some times when the stakes can be so high that maximizing someone's utility takes precedence over teaching the truth. And the stakes are never higher than when...
Yeah. Your God tells you the millionth digit of pi is 7, and it isn't. If God has lied to you, is that God worth following? It's hiding the truth from you.
Well, if he's got a big fucking stick that he's going to beat you about with and set you on fire to, then yes, you listen to him.
But you learned the truth. So, burn? The truth is bad. What kind of God would make you think the truth is bad?
The Christian one and the Jewish one and
All
of them.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in God, you're not feeding money into the institutions, and if the institutions die, then
Yeah.
none of these people have money. None of these tax-free dollars.
What happens when the Catholic Church isn't the wealthiest institution on the planet because of all the properties they own?
All of the weird dealings throughout the centuries,
Yeah.
clerical indulgences and the like.
Clerical indulgences.
Well, that's what Martin Luther started. Fucking was it? It's not the Methodist, was it? Which one was Martin Luther starting?
Oh, Reformed?
No, I can't remember the name. It's a big fucking church. It's a big denomination. I can't remember the fucking name. I've been going too long. I'm an idiot. But that's because he was pissed off that you could commit sins and then go to Catholic priests and go, here's a bit of money. Will you erase these sins for me? Cheers.
Oh, it's funny. But imagine, all these institutions start crumbling because they lose followers and they lose the money. It's all about the money. Yeah.
Well, of course it is. Because it's like Callan said, God, he's infinitely powerful. He knows everything. He just can't keep fucking track of his financial situation.
Yeah. And for some reason, churches always need a new roof. Stop making them out of lead and people will stop stealing them. Jesus Christ. Oh.
How dare you burn the unbeliever?
All I said is that meal was good enough for Jehovah.
Infinite utility is on the line. Now, would God reward wagering? Well, most Christians probably didn't convert under the pretense of a selfish utilization of Pascal's wager.
Yes, they do. A fucking lot of them do.
Yeah.
Pascal's wager is incredibly useful on idiots. I know people that have heard Pascal's wager and gone, that's the reason I believe.
Yeah. Because I may as well.
It's like, oh, why not? I don't know, because there's other gods. See, that's when you bring up the other gods thing. Because,
Yeah. But yeah, would God reward wagering?
Yes.
You're going to do it for selfish reason? Does God reward it?
Yes. As long as you believe in God, doesn't matter what you've done. As long as you've believed in God and you repent, that's all you need for most Christian denominations. They tell you outright, good acts don't mean shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why there's so many evil acts in the Bible.
I mean, well, it's not just that. It's like, well, yeah, but God tells people to do those evil acts, so it's different.
Mm.
But also, it's like you ever heard of the Chick Tracks guy, John Chick, something like that? He makes little cartoons, little comic books that you're supposed to leave in bathrooms and to convert people, literally.
Oh.
They're only about that big, and they got lots of pages, and all of them you can do all the good acts in the world, but it doesn't matter if you didn't believe in God. Your name will be left from the book of life, and then you shall burn forever.
Yeah, but all that is a very good way of transmitting norovirus.
But the broader point is that the atheist isn't the one who's wagering here. It's a Christian. We want to maximize the chance of our fellow human beings getting infinite utility. The atheist's best shot at that is deleting their channels. That's what they should focus on. Let's throw in one bone.
Focus on. That's what we should focus on.
Let's take the focus away from disproving this video in its entirety.
Yeah, you shouldn't because you're deconverting people with your facts and logic, right? And you know, you go, well, we've proved this and we've proved that, and here's how we've done it, and here's how we've used it to do things, right? You do that to people. You're unconverting them. They're all going to burn in hell. You are a bad man, and you're a bad woman, or whatever, right? Or whatever in between. You're bad, and you shouldn't do it. So delete your channel.
Yeah.
Delete your channel. You know, if you're one of the people that writes books, you shouldn't do that. You know, if you're doing scientific things that might disprove things that the Bible says, Christians say,
Right.
you know, you shouldn't do them. You shouldn't do anything that would make anyone question Christianity whatsoever, because that's definitely the most evil thing in the world, because they're going to burn in hell forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And like it doesn't matter how much damage we do to people on this material plane that we all exist on and we know exists because we're all here. It doesn't matter what you do to people on that, because you all go to heaven anyway, as long as you believe. So whatever, just, you know, whatever, while they're here, you know, you can stab them, you can shoot them, whatever, just repent and you go to heaven, and they go to heaven because you killed them, right? Because they were innocent and you killed them, so they get to go to heaven. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah, save yourself all this time praying. Save yourself that Sunday couple of hours in church, and you know, however long it takes you to get there, and you know, save yourself making all these videos telling an atheist to delete the channels, and just, you know, live your life like an atheist. And when you're about to die, when you know the end is coming, repent. That's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else than that. There's your infinite utility potential right there.
This objection. There is some non-zero probability that only atheists will go to heaven because there could be an atheist-loving God or something. So, atheism overall promises infinite utility on average, just like Christianity. So bringing a Christian to atheism doesn't reduce their utility. Now, this logic breaks down. The problem is that if you go from a probability P1 of getting some good to a probability of P2 of getting that good, then the difference in utility is the product of P2 minus P1 and the utility of that good. So getting a Christian to become an atheist will still, on average, result in a net loss of infinite utility.
Bad man.
There is a way of...
Is this the bit you've been waiting for?
No, it's not. But it was when he tried to minus infinity, negative infinity from infinity. We'll get to that. But it's like, yeah. So you're arguing that you're still going to get a net loss of negative infinity because there could be an atheist god. Now, there's how many gods in the world? About 6,000.
I mean,
Between 5 and 6.
it sounds correct.
Between 5 and 6,000. I think it's about 5,400, something like that. Right? So, if there's about, say, we'll say 5,500 is a nice middle figure. That's, and plus atheism. 5,001. 501. Right? There's a 1 in 5,501 chance
Just,
that you have chosen the correct path.
yeah.
Each. Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
I don't have any Dr. Pepper.
Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. So, there's a 1 in 5,501 chance that you've chosen the correct path, and each one leads to infinite utility. So why is it a net loss just for the atheists? Thank you very much.
Because if he doesn't say that, right, and use some like less than fancy maths,
I know.
because the thing is, right, is this isn't trying to convince anyone that has an IQ of above like 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to them, they go, "Oh, that's fancy math.
I know.
I don't understand this math. He's worked it out. It must be correct."
Yeah. So why, when you move over from Christianity to atheism, do you have to deduct P1 from P2? Why do you have to take the infinite utility from one away from the other when you are moving from infinite utility to infinite utility? You're literally minusing that infinite utility, moving along and gaining infinite utility. You don't have to negative one from the other.
Atheism bad.
Oh, well, that explains what the G is. Oh, does that mean good? I can't remember.
around this, which I'll call the escape. An atheist could maintain that an atheist-loving God, or some such atheist-preferring hypothesis, is actually more probable than Christianity. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it would justify not deleting a channel which promotes atheism. Anyways, that's the argument. Here it is.
I'll justify not deleting my channel for that being a complete and utter pile of shit.
The ending alone, that little ending alone, disproves what you're trying to say. It just shows that not only terrible at math, but a liar. So,
Well, of course he's a liar. He's a Christian.
yeah.
Christians have to be liars.
They have to be, knowingly or otherwise.
Well, just because, like, even when they're trying to convert people, right, they will say things they don't believe because they think it will win in an argument or to try and convert someone.
Oh, yeah. Is your God all loving? Yeah. Oh, he loves you so much that he flooded the world and killed everyone apart from this
no,
little bit.
we got rainbows for that. What are you on about?
Yeah. Thank you. The gays really love that.
Yeah, but we got see he killed everyone at the time, right? And it was early on, so there wasn't a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And there was like half angels there, like the Nephilim, and they're really bad, so everyone had to die. And it's okay, we got rainbows, so
Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah. Thanks for the rainbow. We'll have that. Thank you.
Is more formally, so each step is clearly laid out. If you're an atheist with a channel that criticizes Christianity,
Is there anything left useful in this?
I don't think so. It's just him waffling on about the end.
about
Yeah.
when and how it is okay to criticize a religion. Liz Jackson pointed out that this argument may even entail that atheists should evangelize for a religion to maximize utility. These are all interesting avenues of discussion, but that's the end of this video.
So the atheists are now a more intelligent way of thinking on average because more scientists are atheists and that we could help religious people to control the masses better and keep people in the religion, and that way they get atheist money as well.
Right. We've been going for 2 hours. How much longer do you want to go?
Oh, I'm quite happy to carry on until we're done.
Because we've still got a few videos to go through.
We do.
We've still got the COVID pastor. We definitely have to go through that one. It was in the title.
Oh, yeah.
The 6 things.
We have one loyal viewer right now. Thank you, loyal viewer.
Yeah. Loyal viewer that I'm not going to name drop like Fag did last time.
You've just doxed me.
You said that's what you're going to use as your name.
Fat angry gay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't mind carrying on going. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's not what I meant to do.
Just depends if you're all right there.
So do you want to? The next one's the 6 things. Do you want to do that one?
Oh my god, it was beautiful.
I definitely have to end with the COVID one. I'm going to get very angry with that one.
Yeah, let's end on a high. Blood pressure.
Hey, it'll send me to sleep. I've got a DM tomorrow.
Funsies. I had fun looking at this next
Yes,
one.
it's going to be really bad tomorrow, and you're going to be here for it.
I think she timed out, I'm afraid. I think she left.
Oh, is that not her? Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I'm stupid. Never mind.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She came back for a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know who the one viewer is. It could be. Could not be.
Yeah, speak up, one viewer, if you can hear us.
I'm waffling. Let's carry on.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe or
Hey, fuck off.
The Bible's
I'll
been
subscribe
accused
just
of being
to-
an outdated book of superstition.
What?
Sorry, I'll subscribe just so I can just look at his videos and go, no, wrong. Yeah. Before we even carry on, he's already got points to talk about. The outdated and superstitious. He is correct.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course it's outdated and superstitious.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I can actually... There we go. Oh, do you know what? I had all that...
He added all the...
It's a superstition. It's like... So, it says that you've got no errors to superstition, even though the Bible itself says the world's flat. It says it's flat quite a few times. You know...
Yep.
And
There are some texts that say it's like bullshit.
actually-
That it's in a dome with there's water on the other side.
I actually have.
Yeah.
I just have a little thing that I want to show. Where's my bookmark bar? Right, because I have that's at the bottom of this.
Oh, that is a nice whiskey for drinking straight.
It isn't. It isn't. So I've got this. I can take this down. I don't need people seeing what I go on all the time. Start attacking me on games and shit. So we've got First Chronicles. Tremble before him, all the earth. The world is firmly established. It cannot be moved. So say the world is flat because the heliocentric thing kind of depends on that. Not heliocentric. I'm an idiot. That's the sun. The Earth one.
Yeah.
Words.
Geocentric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He seats them with princes and has them inherit the throne of honor. For the foundation of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set them on the and on them he has set the world. So you can't have foundations when you're flat. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
He will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the 4 quarters of the earth. And I actually think that's corners, and it's been misdone in that side.
It does seem mistranslated. It probably was corners.
Isaiah 40:22. He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. Spreading out because it's flat. It's just more. He marks out the horizon as the face of the waters between light and the darkness, saying that it's flat. For he views the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens. The world is flat. You can't see everything on the earth if it's round. He unleashes his lightning breath, and the whole the whole heaven, and it sends to the ends of the earth.
Because apparently the earth has an end.
In Matthew, they even say it when it comes to Jesus. Matthew 4:8. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor.
Which you could not see unless the world was either flat or bowl shaped. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Revelation 7. As I saw the 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of earth to prevent any wind from blowing on the land or on the sea or in any tree, because it's saying it's flat. So, whatever.
Yeah.
You had a point that I interrupted?
No, I was just saying straight away. It's outdated and superstitious. That is correct. Yes. He's going to try and defend that now.
I know. Jesus goes around spitting on wounds to cure them and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Or just says be healed. We'll get to that. Is it not playing?
Oh, that's because it's not clicked on that. That's why.
Edition, written by people who didn't understand the scientific workings of the real world. You know, this accusation is patently false. Not only does the Bible not contain errors and superstitious statements, but it contains amazing scientific facts that were written down thousands of years before we in modern scientific times understood how important they were. I'm going to give you a list of 6 scientific facts that validate the Bible. Number 1, blood being the liquid of life. In the 21st...
Of course he's not, but they really like going whole hog on this. You know, there's definitely scientific things that prove stuff in the Bible. And it's like, if you ad hoc reason enough stuff, it could mean anything.
Yeah, that's backwards compatibility, these sentences.
Yeah, because we know better nowadays, so we can put our rationalizations in the year 2021 to things that were written in the 7th, 8th, 6th century BCE.
Yeah. He does terribly with this, though. He does.
Century, we understand how important blood is. We have studied it and seen its capabilities and its importance to life. But that knowledge was not well known in the past.
Yes, it was.
It was.
It was totally known in the past. Like, people knew, if I charge in a battle, right, and then I cut people apart, well, they're going to lose blood and die, right? So they knew that it was essential to life, because if people bled too much, they died.
And used for torture.
Yes.
Bloodletting. Jesus, at some point they used bloodletting to cure disease.
It's like, no one before the Jews understood that blood was important. No one.
No. It's like eyes. You don't need eyes to see. No one knew that back then.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know about the optic nerve, so we couldn't possibly have known that the eyes were important for seeing.
Yeah.
In fact, in the past, ignorance of just how important blood is has caused some learned men to do some very tragic things.
So is the Bible.
Until the 19th century, doctors believed that harmful vapors entered the blood and caused sickness. For this reason, those doctors would literally bleed their patients by putting leeches on them or cutting the veins and arteries in the elbow and getting that blood out.
We didn't know better.
To be fair, though, we have started actually using leeches for certain things
good.
because they actually work on certain things.
They had the wrong idea of where it was coming from, with it being harmful vapors in the air.
Yeah, because they used to because it's not even harmful vapors, right? It's not like there was just this mysterious thing that came out. They thought it was the smells.
Mm.
If it smelled bad, then it was bad. So like it would infect you somehow because of the smell.
Like when the bubonic plague was spreading, and a lot of people thought the smell of it was what caused you to catch it.
Yes.
So they go around with little smelly pouches of dried flowers and lavender and things, and just to not have to smell it.
Yeah, I mean, there's also all the dead bodies, but yeah.
There is that too. Yeah.
Because they were everywhere.
But yeah, the leeches were a good thing. They actually got that right, even if it was just a guess. They got it right because they can help cleanse poisons out of the blood.
But see, the other thing is, right? Oh, well, like people for like even a couple hundred years ago, they were like bloodletting, using leeches. It's like, so the Bible that all these people that you're mentioning believed in, right? They all believed the Bible. They all, had the Bible read at them or read it. They saw what was in the Bible and saw your what you're saying, and still they bloodletted and these leeches and did all these things, even though the Bible was concisely telling them that what blood was, that it had hemoglobin in it, and that the iron in the hemoglobin would actually carry the oxygen around. It also contained things like platelets and white blood cells, because that's what the Bible says, isn't it? That's definitely
I
what
have
it says.
here in Leviticus. No, seriously, it's here in Leviticus.
No, I know. He's gonna say it in a minute.
The first president of the United States of America, George Washington, came down with a cold, and his doctor was called, and he literally bled him to death. So what's that have to do with the Bible? Well, thousands of years before this lethal practice of bloodletting was in vogue, the Bible stated in Leviticus chapter 17, verse 11, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood." And just a few verses down, it said that an animal's blood sustains its life.
I have a lot of points about this.
See, the thing I want to mention is he's only saying a part of what those are.
Oh yeah.
And because I wrote them down myself.
I got 17:10 through 16.
I think I wrote down most of the chapter.
Yeah.
Because actually, sorry. So the start of the chapter is about,
Yeah,
animal
I will
sacrifice.
set my face against any Israelite or foreigner residing among them who eats blood, and I will cut them off from the people.
Do you know what? Just a second. I'll get the internet up. I'll get better at doing all this. Because I can just put it up on there, and then the people can see what the fuck we're reading, instead of us just reading at them.
Yeah, Leviticus 17:10 to 17.
King James. Where are we looking at? 17.
Yeah,
Leviticus 17.
17. Wait, Moses.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Come on. Need to learn which symbol's which. See, just a sec though. A lot of it is just it's talking about animal sacrifice.
Yeah.
And then
So basically, your blood is your life. So the heart that pumps it, and lungs, and all that. That's not. It's just the blood. But the significance of it is that God gave people blood, and even says so right there. God gave blood to things.
Which verse are we on here?
I'll just read through 11 now, which is the next one, which is, "For the life of a creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourselves on the altar. It is the blood that makes atonement for one's life." So it's a blood sacrifice to God on an altar. That is what it's for.
And then, because he then skips to 14, we're actually in between, and also says, therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood. No black pudding for anyone.
I deleted that. I thought it was too on the nose. And just change it to God doesn't like blood as food.
And whatsoever man there'll be the child of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof, and cover it with dust. For this is the life of all flesh, the blood of it is for the life thereof, and therefore I say unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat no manner of flesh, eat the blood of no manner of flesh, for the life of all flesh is in the blood. Right? So it's just talking about kosher eating.
Yep.
Kosher, halal, whatever religion you're in. The Christians are the only one that went, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the Romans, that though, isn't it?
These are the Romans on numbers.
No.
I want to say that actually it's not really that bad. You can.
No, it's definitely the Christian part. Because and I don't mean the book Romans. I just mean
the
Romans.
Romans.
They're like, nah.
I like black pudding.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's like I've eaten that much black pudding that I should be a philosopher's stone by now. I've got all the souls of them. Right. But yeah. So it's a blood sacrifice. You know, it's on the altar. If you're not going to sacrifice it to God, bury it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It goes back into the earth. You know.
And it's not talking about, you know, it's not talking about the pulmonary system.
Cardiovascular.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I've been doing this too long. My brain can't think of names.
Yeah.
You can see me stumble more. Watch longer.
If you give us money, I'll fuck up on purpose.
Oh, don't do that. We don't need to fuck it up on purpose.
I know. Oh, but yeah, yeah. We know blood is life because we know this because we can cut people open and kill them. It wasn't rocket science, and he uses all these things he's saying to justify why. Like, we didn't know all this back then, but it's in the Bible. That way, it means it's divine. It's come from God. That it had to be the word of God.
True, but that's why he also skips out what it's actually about, and he only gives you the words that are relevant to what he wants you to know, because he's knowingly lying to you.
Yeah, he's omitting several truths, or several lies, because it's like the Bible.
It's what 11, 12, 13. It's 4 passages, right? And they're not long passages. He could have easily put them all up and then just highlighted we want you to see anyway.
Oh
right?
yeah.
But he wants you to think a certain way, so he's going to lie to you about what it means.
Yeah. Plus, he's also, as well as lying to you about what it means, he's grasping at straws to try and go, look, it connects.
See, this particular man, he used to work for Answers in Genesis. This is his own thing now. So he used to work for dear old Ken Ham, who's known for not lying ever. Ever. Yeah. And so see, this is what I was on about before when I was saying, no, they all lie because they're trying to get you to believe a certain thing. Oh, so whether it's a lie of omission or just straight up, whatever.
Yeah, blatant lie. As long as you believe it's all they want.
Yeah.
Today, we completely understand the truthfulness of this biblical statement. But how did an ancient shepherd like Moses in 1450 BC know that the life of the flesh is in the blood? It took...
Because the Babylonians did, the Sumerians did, the Chinese did, the Indus River Valley people did, the Minoans did, fucking everyone did. There's a reason that blood sacrifices were a thing, because they knew it was literally what they thought the core of life was. They didn't think it was the brain. They didn't.
Yeah, life is in the blood. I mean, we know this because when you get rid of it all, you die.
But the Jews, Christians, thought of it first, because that's definitely what he's doing. He's not saying the Jews found out. It's that the Christians found out, because this is all Christianity and not Judaism at all.
Oh yeah, divine word of God and a few other people.
Yeah.
The modern scientific medical community thousands of years and thousands of lives to discover this truth.
No, it didn't.
Scientific fact number 2, sanitation practices. Some of the worst plagues in modern times have been caused by...
You wanted to bring up?
Oh, just let it play for a while.
Improper sanitation practices. In 1846, the city of London had a terrible cholera epidemic. 16,000 people had been killed.
It killed 14,000 people in London, and he's going to translate with 16,000. Little overstated. Gets the dates wrong. the start of it that he says, but it didn't really spread that well
Yeah.
until 1854.
Isn't this where beer came from? Am I remembering this wrong?
I don't know myself. I don't know.
Like actual beer, not like mead and stuff like that. I'm sure it was it might not have been this cholera outbreak, but I'm sure that there was a cholera outbreak in London and you couldn't drink the water, and that's why people made beer.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'd have to look that up.
I can't remember which one it is.
But it did lead to the invention of better sewer systems.
In London.
Well, yeah, but
The French sewer system at that time was already fucking fantastic.
yeah, it was adequate enough.
Adequate enough, they still use it today.
Well, that's just lazy.
No, it was just really good.
I know. Oh god, our drainage systems are so bad, and it's just they have to be replaced every so often.
Oh, let's not get to sewage systems yet. I've got plenty to say about that in a minute.
Well, why could the doctors of the day do nothing to combat this deadly disease?
Because they didn't understand what bacteria and viruses were properly.
That's what I've got.
It's funny. I just look at my notes here. That's exactly the same.
Yeah. I also say what cholera actually is as well. You know.
Go on.
Vibrio cholerae.
Well, that's
It's
what
the
it says on the
infection-
screen.
Yeah, it's an infection of the intestines by some strains of that bacteria. And they didn't know this. They didn't know until a scientist, years later, discovered that it was the water that was causing it because it was in the water and they were drinking it. And the
See,
water was being infected by the sewage coming out of the infected
I don't
people.
want to interrupt your very important
I'm
point.
sorry.
I don't want. Why are you apologising to me? I'm interrupting.
You interrupted in a way that made me feel wrong.
But this is definitely the face he pulls when Jesus blows him.
I thought that was Lilith.
No, that's definitely a Jesus Hummer.
I mean, the way Jesus is depicted, I wouldn't say no.
Oh, because it's Caesar Borgia, wasn't it? No,
Yes, that is, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's who it is.
It was the son of the artist.
Yeah.
And that is just your depiction of Jesus.
Have you seen Jehovah's Witnesses Jesus?
No.
Where he's like totally white American guy from like the 1990s or something with his short hair and his cat beard. He looks like a hipster.
You see, the city of London had a serious problem with sewage. The streets were filled with raw sewage that people would literally open their second and third story windows and dump into the street.
I had a look at this myself as well. They didn't. They buried it and they formed cesspits.
They had cesspits. They also had the Dunny Man that would go around, Night Soul Man that would go around and collect stuff. Now, if you couldn't pay for that, there was, of course, people that would do that in the poorer areas. And that's like, the outbreak of cholera, it wasn't, like it was really in the poor areas of London. It wasn't
in Soho. It started. Or as far as they could find out, it started in Soho, and there they didn't have sewers. They hadn't reached Westminster yet. So what they did is they buried it, like the good book says. They buried it, and there was that much of it under the city. It would seep through floorboards and come up, so you couldn't escape it.
Sorry, I just thought of a Discworld thing. There's a thing. Have you read Thud yet?
No, I haven't started. I should, but there's been a lot going on.
There's a bit in Thud where it's like, because Ankh-Morpork's built over treacle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that keeps on like rising up, and Ankh-Morpork keeps on sinking. I wonder if that's what that's supposed to be.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Pratchett always like did shit like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have to
linked
deal with
things
the
in.
Discworld tangents.
He linked things in like that, so it wouldn't surprise you because the cess would literally just rise through the floorboards that people were walking on, and then they didn't have proper beds. Most of these people, it's a poor area, so they were on the floor on straw or a couple of sheets, So it was surprising.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but is this the Jesus blowjob then? That's definitely.
I don't know. He looks slightly pained.
Like he's
by
just
it.
like he's
So it
just
could
that.
be.
Yeah, but it's all that holy power. You know what I mean? Like it's just started. You know what I mean? He's just started.
Yeah.
Jesus, he likes a bit of teeth.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
You've had the body of Christ. You've had the blood of Christ. Now have the cream puff filling of Christ.
Hey, Enki would have it no other way. Yeah.
Actually, would.
He would.
Sorry. He would. Anally.
No, Enki fucked everything. Don't even understand callbacks, man.
I
Jesus.
do. It's just I misgendered them. We're living in such a time; it could be anything.
He wasn't. He was Sumerian.
Yeah.
See, now he's happy. It's done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's his pre-cum
Suddenly a
satisfied,
cigarette comes
post-cum satisfied face. Ah.
Now, as we know in our modern scientific era, raw sewage carries disease and causes all types of medical problems. If the people in London in 1846 had turned their Bibles to Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 12, they would have read this. Also, you shall have a place outside the camp where you may go out, and you shall have an implement among your equipment. And when you sit down outside, you shall dig with it and turn and cover your refuse.
Right, that is a misquote. He's gone for the new King James Bible. He's quoted the King James Bible, and then in this one, suddenly, different version.
Well, again, it's a different form of line. You just go with
Yeah.
which version of the biblical text agrees with the point you're trying to put across, and like, ta-da!
Yeah, but it says go out and bury your shit. Now, if everyone does that, everyone goes out and buries it. So much shit everywhere.
Also, I'm pretty sure what's actually going on though is he's not just talking about everyone. He's talking about soldiers in particular. So he didn't just have fucking shit all over the ground, right? He's like just go. You've seen a cat, go do a cat thing.
Yeah.
Because like in this area, thousands of years before the Jews, they had plumbing, running water plumbing. But Babylon had
famous gardens. Because they had plumbing.
No, I had famous gardens because it was well irrigated.
Well irrigated.
The plumbing was like rudimentary plumbing. It was storm drains, and people used to go put them in that and be washed out with storms. The Orkney Islands, and like 3,000 years before this, because Deuteronomy is thought to have been written around this 5th, 6th century BCE, right? So the Orkney Islands, like in 3000 BCE, they had toilets, actual toilets with running water. They would catch rainwater in basins, and then they'd open it up as like a sluice to take all the refuse away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Sumerians had it. Babylonians had it. The Minoans, that was before this, they had it. The Romans were slightly before this. Had it.
Yeah.
Like
what you're telling me.
The Indus Valley, right? Who they think might have actually been older than we think, right? They had it. They had running plumbing. So the idea that like the Christians just came along and discovered that maybe we shouldn't be covered in shit and piss all the time is so laughable. And it just goes to show that the straws that you have to reach for.
Oh yeah.
To get to this type of like. Well, the science definitely proves the Bible. See, they know that shit was bad.
Yeah. Look at this. Couldn't possibly have known. But the Bible says to take yourself out and go bury it.
Yeah.
They had plumbing before this.
Also, the
Bible's a little late.
thing with London, right, and with the plumbing and stuff, is that they didn't want to build it because it was expensive, and it wasn't because they didn't know it was bad. They just didn't want to pay for it.
They had plumbing in central London.
No, I know, but
That was
he's making out like, they didn't know beforehand or whatever.
It's like they did know. They just didn't have it. They were poor.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still places around today that don't have plumbing.
There is. The current Prime Minister of India got elected the first time because he promised to give everyone in India a toilet.
I remembered that actually.
3,300 years before London's epidemic, the Bible had implemented a plan to stop such epidemics before they started.
It hadn't. It wouldn't stop the epidemic.
No, because like you said, they were burying it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And it was seeping out from the pits where they buried it and coming up through floorboards. It was leaking into the Thames, or they were throwing it willingly into the Thames.
See, do you know what would be better? Would have served its purpose better if it said, that shit that you're shitting, go spread it over the fields. Where you're farming, you collect it and you collect it together for a bit, right, until it becomes fertilizer, and then you can use it to like feed your plants.
Although as far as I'm aware, human feces isn't very good. It would still be better than nothing.
Yes. It'd be better than just bury it in the sand, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Just bury it in the sand.
Yeah, because what we need is a desert made of shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing scientific fact number 3, an understanding of germs. In 1847, about 18% of women who went into a modern medical facility to give birth would die. That's 1 out of every 6. Well, why was the death rate so high? The medical professors and the students, before that they would give the treatments to the live women, they would do autopsies on dead women. And then they would not wash their hands properly. They would many times wash them in a bowl with no germ-killing agent whatsoever, dry them on a dirty towel, and then perform those examinations on live women.
Nothing to do with the implementation of the instruments they were using, the surgical procedures they were doing, the lack of anesthesia that would make people die of shock, the lack of other medications that would stop.
Back to the anesthesia. I mean, it's even more horrific because the chainsaw was invented for this.
Yes.
To cut them open to get the baby out.
Yes.
The chainsaw. And it was a hand one. And it wasn't particularly sharp. I mean, it was sharp, but it's going to tear the skin rather than cut it.
I mean, if he wants to pretend that, that the Jews, Christians, back during, Deuteronomy and Leviticus or whatever, didn't know, just to dying because they knew, they had immaculate birth rates because they knew about germ theory.
I mean, there's something towards the end, I suppose, but there is something in there, like a Bible quote about putting salt in a spring, and any who drink from it any women who drink from it won't die in childbirth anymore, and the babies won't die when they're born either. Because you put salt in a spring and let them drink from it, and that'll cure all deaths for childbirth.
Did you have the Bible verse of that?
I do. I was just going to save it to the end.
We'll save it to then. Save it till then. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Cause
well, if you're looking at that from a 21st century observer's point of view, you realize that's terrible. They're passing germs from the dead bodies of ladies who are dying and giving those germs to the live women because they're not washing their hands. But to Europeans in the middle of the 19th century, that idea of passing a germ was a completely foreign idea to them. When the doctors and medical students implemented hand...
Like you want to say something?
No, I'm just shaking my head. I'm waiting for the part where he quotes the Bible.
Fair enough.
Washing procedures. The death rate plummeted from 18% to about 2%. These doctors in the mid-1800s had made an amazing discovery, or had they? Is it possible that the doctors simply rediscovered something that had already been known?
No, but also he doesn't give any actual place where you can find the statistics for that.
No, he doesn't. Because I'm looking at that 2% and going, that's awfully low for that era.
Yeah, especially considering that the mortality rate was still a lot higher into like the 1920s, 30s, and so forth.
Yeah, and again, with all the things you mentioned before about anesthesia and the way they got them out of the body if they were stuck.
But because the thing is, right, he's pretending that this is the only way that, people died in childbirth.
Oh, yeah.
When like, there's also, what medications they were being given because people were being given mercury, like all sorts of quackery things that just people went, well, this is definitely what works.
Yeah. There's far more to it than just, it was a germ.
Yeah.
Oh, there's blood loss and there's severe trauma. So, blood clots have formed, well, that blood clots has gone and bam, lung, bang, heart, bang, brain. Yeah. It's far more to it than just germs.
Yeah. But if he doesn't say that, then it looks better for him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, almost 3,500 years before the 1850s, the Bible stated, "He who touches the dead body of anyone shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with the water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, he will not be clean." You'll find that.
This is where I have a point of contention. Unclean, in Bible terms, means unworthy of worshipping God or unworthy of being used to worship God.
Yes, it even says that in one of the next verses.
Yeah.
Where's my thing? There we go. So it's what book again?
That is Numbers 19.
Numbers 19. Sure, it was 19.
Yeah, 19.
No,
11 to 12.
Right. Yeah. Whoever touches the dead body of any man that is dead, and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel, shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean; his uncleanness is yet upon him.
He's making out like the Bible stated. You have to wash your hands. In an era where they didn't have soap, you have to wash your hands. Now, what does soap do to a bacteria? Kills it. The soap breaks down the fatty layers that protect it, and that's dead.
See, their main version of something that cures things is hyssop, right? Which, to essential oil people, has curative properties. It's been like kind of proven, mostly not proven, and because like it's in the Bible, God says it works, so it must work.
I had to look up something about figs as well, and I went looking for scientific journals for figs because I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
They use figs for poultices to get rid of boils.
Yeah.
I went looking to see if it works, and the only thing I found was just this one journal. It appears to be a Christian author. It doesn't seem to go anywhere. So there's no definitive proof of some of these things actually working, but they have no soap. So what they mean is wash yourself with just water. It does nothing.
See, the thing is, well, it doesn't do nothing. It just doesn't do more. It's less than optimal.
Yeah.
See, but the thing is, right? The next line is actually a better thing for what he's saying. This is the law that when a man dieth in his tent, that all come into his tent, and all that it shall be unclean for 7 days. You know what I mean? Like, that's actually closer to quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
We'll get to quarantine in a bit. But yeah, he's saying, wash yourself after you touch a dead body, and where it's actually saying is, you need holy water, you need anointing oils, you need Jesus, you need someone to pray for you, and it's not the same. If we did that, they did that in hospitals back then. They'd have ward sisters that would go around and do some praying for you.
What they were called almshouses. And they basically all they did was pray for you.
Yeah, and it did.
It's like Mother Teresa. She just waited for you to die because suffering was what life was about.
Yeah, it brings you closer to God because you die and you no longer exist, just like God. So you're as close to God as anyone could ever be. Oh, but it just means unworthy of worshipping God. So there's nothing about killing bacteria. It doesn't mention bacteria.
No, but it says unclean though.
Yeah.
But it says unclean.
Yeah, your soul is now tarnished.
It just says unclean, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, we don't have to read the rest of the Bible to find out what that means.
No. You shouldn't read it in context at all.
Oh, no,
you should never, when you see a Bible quote, you should totally never read the verses before and after it to see what the proper context are.
First thing I did when I saw these quotes come up, I'm like,
because that's what you should do. But the thing is this video, right? It's not made for people like us. It's not made for agnostics. It's made for fundamentalist Christians.
Yeah.
So they can feel good about what they believe.
Yeah, they're not going to be skeptical about it and look up the rest.
Yeah, this isn't made for people that will do that.
Yeah.
That's why, if you go on these type of videos, you find that the comment sections are disabled and stuff like that. Because, you just have a litany of people going, yeah, but that's bullshit, and here's the 20 billion reasons why.
In Numbers chapter 19, verses 11 and 12. You see, the Israelites were instructed to wash their hands in water with germ-killing agent in it 3,500 years before, in modern medical times, we knew that should be done.
Is it just me, or did that not mention anything about medical agent?
No.
I thought
It was he's like, yeah, some agent. Yeah, it doesn't mention it in there.
It just says water, doesn't it?
It washed.
Or was it 11?
Yeah, it just washed.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There's no mention of soaps. There's no mention of water. It just says washed.
Yep.
Washed in what? It could be washed in the anointing oils, for all we know.
See, he's disappointed, and you look at that face. He's disappointed.
Yeah, but he's also looking a little happy. Like, you proved me wrong, but it was funny.
I don't know. That seems like a disappointed face to me.
Oh, see, I see that as a positive thing, because I'm kind of used to that after sex.
That's because you're a masochist.
Amazing scientific fact, number 4. Ship engineering. While you don't go to the Bible for blueprints for a huge barge, you don't think, it just so happens that maybe that is where you go. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 15, the Bible says that a man by the name of Noah builds an ark that's 300 cubits long, by 50 cubits wide, by 30 cubits high. And it just so happens this is a ratio of 30 to 5 to 3, length to breadth to height. Well, for thousands of years, the ark was the largest floating ship on record.
Point of contention. Largest floating ship not on record.
Also, it's not a ship because it's why it's called an ark, because it's not a ship. It's not a boat because it doesn't have any propulsion. It doesn't have any steering. It was literally a giant wooden box to kind of just sit in and wait. You were at the whims of
whatever
the
wind
waters.
And whatever water wants you to do. Off you go. You got no control over it. Although, did no one have a rod to go direct the boat? No?
No.
Pity.
No, it just floats around for an amount of days.
An amount of days, yeah. But yeah, it's the largest ship not on record, so fuck off.
In 1844, a man named Isambard K. Brunel built a huge ship called the Great Britain, and he used a...
The Great Britain was made from iron and steel, and not wood.
Yeah, it's much heavier. The materials are much heavier and capable of supporting a lot more weight.
Because Brunel, right, was a clever engineer. Wasn't an idiot like the people that built the SS Wyoming, which is the largest wooden ship ever constructed.
Yeah, the largest one that's actually on record.
Yeah, it's a 6-masted schooner. Is it a schooner?
Yeah.
And it's very large. And it was so big, in fact, that the motion of the ocean literally bent it into different shapes so it let water on board.
Yeah.
Wood is not good for building big things with. Like, it had to have a pump on board constantly pumping water out because it was constantly leaking. No, it didn't have that.
No. He had a box.
Yeah. He had a box with a big room for poo.
Now he's about to tell us now about the SS Great Britain. So, how it's following the design of Noah's Ark. Let it play.
Similar ratio to that of the ark, 30 to 5 to 3. As it turns out, that 30 to 5 to 3 length to breadth to height ratio is the perfect ratio to build a huge boat that doesn't need to go anywhere very quickly, but needs to stay afloat and carry tons and tons of supplies.
So, he's saying that they followed the ratio of the ark. So the ratio of the ark is 30 by 5 by 3. So for every 30 feet, for instance, there'd be 5 feet and then 3 feet in length, width, and height. The SS Great Britain, the ratio that I got as close as possible to was 40.25 by 6.25 by 4.0625.
See, I think this isn't how ratios work with ships. I'm not sure. I don't remember this part of high school math, in the slightest. So I have nothing to say.
Yeah. The ratio is you have this many feet for this many feet for this many feet. So as long as I divided it by 2, all the numbers by 2 until I got it as close as possible to the arc to see the ratio, and it's not. It's wider by far. It's longer by far, and its height is not too dissimilar.
Also, they're not measured in the same fucking units.
Yeah. But when it comes to ratios, that doesn't tend to matter. Like when you might have different sized cups when you're baking a cake, but as long as you have the right amount
shouldn't
of
a ratio be for 30? So for 35 and 1, shouldn't that be for every 30 feet long? That should be 5 foot wide and 1 foot tall, or some shit like that. That's what a ratio is, isn't it? It's not just the dimensions narrowed down. It's for every one of these, you get one of these and one of these.
Yeah. So for the arc, for every 30 foot in length, it had to be 5 foot wide and 3 foot tall. And then, so you make it 60 feet, then it goes up again to 60 by 10 by 6.
Right, but it does matter when it comes to, when you're using, it will matter when it comes to different measurements. Because those measurements are not going to give you the same ratio when you put them. So if you took the SS Britain and put it into cubits it's not going to have the same ratio.
It wouldn't be the same length as it was, but it would still be the same ratio.
It wouldn't work down to the same numbers.
It
literally
take
can't.
Away,
how can it though? Because it's
if you take away the measurements of feet, inches, or anything like that, and just say units,
right.
As long as it's 30
but if
units by 5 by 3.
But if you're measuring by different units, then that has to affect the ratio.
It'll only affect the overall size of the ship, but the ratio will remain the same.
It can't do.
It can.
Why?
I explained this with the cake. You bake a cake and you use cups for measurements. You might have different size cups each time you come to bake a cake, but as long as you're using the same size cups for each thing in the same cake, you'll have the same ratio. So the cake will be fine. Your cake might be bigger, it might be smaller, but you'll have the same ratio. So whether you're measuring cubits or feet, the only difference is going to be the overall size. So a cubit's what?
So it's between it literally says between 17 and 22 inches.
Yeah, so between 1.5 foot.
But like even between 2 foot, that's twice the distance. That's not the same ratio.
It's the same ratio, but it'll be a different length. Yeah.
This all sounds math. It just eludes me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So Titanic 40 by 4.5 by 2.65. That's not perfectly accurate, but it's close enough. The Symphony of the Seas, the largest ship ever built. 29 by 5.37 by 5.7.
See, I asked around on some engineering shipbuilding type fucking forums about this shit. And they all told me it's just some religious nonsense they get asked about occasionally, and that no shipbuilder ever thinks like this unless they're trying to build a Christian ship.
Yeah, there is no perfect ratio for building a ship because each ship is going to be used for a different purpose. Some will carry people, some will carry really heavy cargo.
Well, wouldn't what the ship is made out of change the buoyancy, so therefore necessarily change its ratio?
Incredibly. For wood floats on its own usually, depending on the wood. Some floats better than others, but using wood, your ship's going to be lighter, but it's also going to be weaker. You use steel, it's going to be much heavier, it's going to sit much lower in the water, so the height needs to be considerably more. It's not the perfect ratio for building a ship.
No. Right. Well, we should carry on.
Yeah.
It's been nearly 3 hours. I think 3 hours is a good mark to finish off on.
Yeah.
That same ratio, 30 to 5 to 3, was used by shipbuilders in World War II when they built ships called Liberty ships that were designed to carry tremendous amounts of cargo. You see,
You got them ones as well, do you?
I didn't get the Liberty ships down.
I did give them to you. It's down a bit.
Yeah, so just keep dividing those numbers by 2 until you get close.
Can you say what those numbers are? They can't see them.
So 441.5 by 56.9 by 27.8. So dividing by 2. So let's go there. 220.75. Let's get it a bit closer. 110, 55. So it'd be 27.5 as the length, which isn't 30. 56.9. Well, let's just call it 57 for ease of math. So what 28.5. Half that again. You've got 14.25. Half that again, and you've got 7.125. Nowhere near the 5. So just from those 2 measurements, you can see he lied.
Brunel and those engineers that were building those Liberty ships, they had generations of shipbuilding knowledge. But Noah's was literally the first of its kind. Where did he get that kind of information? Well, I would suggest to you from the master shipbuilder. Amazing fact.
It's all a lie. It's just a story.
Nicked from other places.
Yeah. There's many other countries that have flood stories before this one.
Samaria, Babylon, China, Indus Valley, whatever.
Yeah, it's a story. It's nothing more than that. It was a story put forward as this is the truth.
So it's almost like, right, people went around trading with each other, conquering each other, and spreading their stories, through conquering, word of mouth, through trade, and
Number 5, quarantine. You see, in today's world of advanced medicine and understanding of germs, the idea of quarantining sick patients and separating them from those who are well, it's standard practice. But it certainly wasn't in the ancient world because they didn't understand germs till about 200 years ago, and they didn't see a need to keep sick people separate from people who were not sick. The Bible, however, thousands of years before modern medical science understood the spread of germs, detailed measures to prevent their spread. In the book of Leviticus, we read that people with diseases such as leprosy were instructed to dwell alone outside the camp.
Now,
We read that in
is the new King James Version. I looked at the original. New King James Version. He shall be unclean all the days he has the sore. He shall be unclean. And he shall dwell alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp. So he swapped because the actual King James Bible is a little bit different.
It also is not the full cure.
No, it's not.
I can't remember which verses it is though. Cure for leprosy in the Bible. Right, Leviticus 14.
He was on 13 then, so this is
Let's just go to
the next chapter.
Let's go to King James, shall we? Just for the sake.
Let's look a little.
Oh, there we go. So the priest. And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then the priest shall command to take for him, that is to be cleansed, 2 birds, alive and clean, and cedarwood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, who shall take it, and the cedarwood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them in the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. He shall then sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and he shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose upon the open field. The stuff after it, burning the clothes, shaving off his hair, washing himself, those, they're actually good things. But the Bible's not got any superstition in it. But by the way, can you kill this one bird, dip the other bird in its blood with some running water, and these things, you got to burn this bit, you let this one go, and you got to do all these things to appease God, so then he will cure it while he's alone for the 7 days.
Yeah, but when a woman does it, it's witchcraft. And animal cruelty.
Oh, that's not
It's
quite
nice of
something.
him to swap when it's not convenient to a different Bible.
Oh yeah, because Christians disingenuous as fuck.
Leviticus 13:46. And if and when an individual got close to somebody who is not diseased, this diseased individual was told to cover his mustache or upper lip and cry, unclean.
It was the mouth.
Why? Why do we tell our children to cover their mouths when they cough?
Because it came from sneezing, and the Christians did it. It was because they thought that demons were coming out of the body. So you were covering your mouth to stop demons going into other people. That's why you say bless you as well.
Yeah.
Not because they were going, I'm going to infect everyone. I'm in the 1400s and understand that I can cough on people and make them ill. No, they went, the demons are coming out of me. Bless you. The demons will no longer enter your body.
Yeah. As well, it's like they're made to walk through the streets yelling unclean. They were made to live outside the camp, but they were allowed to interact with people.
Yeah. And people were allowed to go inside the camp and go out back in.
Yeah. They were perfectly fine going around to people.
Because if you just cherry pick a few words, then you can forget about all the inconvenient things that go against with what you say.
So they're not quarantined. They have to sleep outside the camp.
Yeah.
That's where they live. They eat, drink there, but they can come to the town.
They weren't even kept outside of the town to not infect people. It was like the pedophiles and rapists in Florida. They just weren't allowed in the town limits. It wasn't because they're going to give us that disease. It's kind of they didn't want to look at them. Kind of they didn't want to deal with them. They were a poor underclass and shouldn't be dealt with.
Now, leprosy is not a pleasant disease to look upon.
Yeah, but the problem with leprosy in the Bible is it doesn't mean leprosy as we mean leprosy. It means any skin condition.
Ah, right.
Dandruff, eczema, they were all considered that leprosy. Leprosy was any like kind of flaky, kind of infected skin condition.
Yeah.
Well, to keep that diseased spittle from going into the air and from infecting others airborne.
Nice post hoc rationalization there. We know it to be different now, so I can put these wandering Jews, Christians, thousands of years ago. I can put my thought on them because they were obviously thinking what I'm thinking now because God told them.
There's a modern overlay over an archaic, aged.
Well, it's just post hoc rationalization. That's what it is. It's just you're adding your own thoughts to things that were, from previous before.
We look at these instructions in Leviticus, and we see that Leviticus had an understanding of contagion and quarantine that surpasses that of any other nation.
Tell that to the birds that were murdered.
I mean, their version of quarantine was kind of like some people's version of quarantine during the COVID lockdown. It's like, well,
we'll get on to COVID. Let's not bring up COVID. I'm going to finish up COVID.
But it wasn't really quarantine what they did. It's like, you sleep outside, but you can come into the town and yell unclean.
It's interesting that the Encyclopedia of Medical History says this. The idea of contagion was foreign to the classic medical tradition and found no place in the voluminous Hippocratic writings. The Old Testament, however, is a rich source for contagionist sentiment.
I got angry at this when I first saw it. Angry, because I looked this encyclopedia up and I made sure. In 1985, it was written.
Mm-hmm. Was it a fundamentalist Christian by any chance?
Yes. He was a Christian.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah. So, that entire statement is a lie.
Of course it is. Because if you go to, it's like going, oh, well, I'm going to talk about evolution. So I'm going to quote Ken Ham, because Ken Ham has an actual degree in biology from, I can't remember which university it is in Australia.
I don't remember what it is.
I did once upon a time, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's all it is. Just I'll look for the Christian that agrees with me. It's like the guy. Collins, the guy that made like the human that mapped the human genome. He's a Christian, and now Christians use that all the fucking time. See, it was sent by God. Look at it. It's a Christian guy.
Yeah, but this encyclopedia, they say, the idea of contagion was foreign. It is not. It is not foreign. Quarantine was implemented before these times by various different cultures. Jesus Christ, one of them, it was after this. Italy in the
I was going to bring this up.
bubonic plague.
The wine holes.
Yeah, they had quarantine during the bubonic plague, and yet these are saying that no,
There's still remnants of it. There were like these holes in walls where people would like serve wine out of, so they didn't come into contact with each other.
Is that why one of the cities in Italy actually has a fountain that serves wine?
Yeah.
Oh.
Especially in regard to leprosy and venereal disease. Now, here again, the Old Testament exhibits amazingly accurate medical knowledge that surpasses
amazingly accurate. It went, so it's this form of leprosy, and what we cure this leprosy is this drug, right? It's this chemical composition that God, who is omnipotent, would have definitely known because he knows everything that's going to happen, and he would have known that a few thousand years later we would have gone, oh, actually, you use this. There you go. We can cure it now.
Yeah, take this for 7 days.
Yeah. Why didn't he tell people to make that? Why didn't he make that like easily, readily available for everyone instead of telling everyone what you need to do is kill a bird and then you sprinkle that bird's blood on this other bird over some running water and you sprinkle that blood on some wood and some yarn and some hyssop and then you
Also, this is doing the same thing I did before, but the words used in the Bible are unclean. Again. You are unworthy. If you got leprosy, you are unworthy of God. There are ways to treat it. I've written it down later. But you are unworthy of worshipping God if you got leprosy. And the worry wasn't that they would spread the leprosy. It's that anyone who touched them would become unclean and have to be cleansed before they could worship God again. And so this isn't amazing medical knowledge. This was fear that you were unworthy.
anything known that the humans who were alive at the time during the writers' lives could have possibly come up with on their own. Amazing scientific fact number 6, food regulations. In the United States, we have the Food and Drug Administration. It's the FDA. And it's designed to make regulations that keep people from getting sick from foodborne diseases mostly, knowing that certain kinds of food, such as pork, are more prone.
Right. I'm just going to skip the rest of this because everything he says is just stupid because, oh, well, you know, trichinosis is in pig meat, and that's definitely why pigs were... No.
Pigs were considered unclean.
Because of Noah. All the food regulations, right, except for the blood stuff, which he doesn't mention, right, all of the food regulations of what kind of animals that you are allowed to eat and what animals you're not allowed to eat are all about whether they went on in pairs of 7 or pairs of 2, right? Sorry, not pairs of 7, but, you know, like if they were a clean animal, they went on 7. If they were an unclean animal, there was only 2 of them because they were evil animals, considered evil. That's where all the food restrictions come from.
Yeah.
Like all of them. Trying to pretend that it's anything else is just ludicrous.
Oh, yeah. He's on about, oh, right, because we knew there was problems with the meat, and you eat it, you get ill, you don't. It's like, God should have divinely inspired someone to say, prepare it better.
What?
Cook it fully.
All right. Sorry, OBS seemed to fuck up there for a second.
So, you know, cook it properly. That's what God should have said, not, oh, no, it's dirty, don't do it. Don't do it.
Right. It's been 3 hours. I want to get my COVID rant out.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Just quickly at the end, he does say the Bible never gets a medical fact wrong, right?
To carry disease, the FDA will make a regulation like this. You can go into a restaurant, you can order a beef rare. But if you go into that restaurant and you order a pork chop, you can't order it rare. Why? Well, because pork, if it's not cooked properly, has a much higher probability of causing some type of disease. But we know that in modern times. But the Bible, especially the Old Testament, written some 3,000 years before modern times, exhibits a knowledge of food-borne diseases that surpasses anything that was around during the time of the writers. For instance, when you look in Leviticus chapter 11, it mentions that pork was not to be eaten. That's a wise regulation, as we have seen. Even the modern FDA puts...
Couldn't even get the full sentence out because it's on about regulations to do with holiness and not...
It's about the uncleanliness of the animal. It's not worthy.
Regulations in along those lines. But the text also forbids the consumption of bats. You say, well, I don't want to eat a bat. Well, some people do. In fact, around the world, bats in some places are a delicacy. Why not eat bats? Just so
COVID
happens that bats have a very high probability of carrying viruses that can be caught by humans.
If only they'd listen to Moses and Aaron.
Especially the rabies virus. Also, in Leviticus 11, we read that things like lizards, salamanders, amphibians are not to be eaten. Well, why? Well, lizards, salamanders, amphibians...
Because they are reptiles, they are associated with snakes, and were therefore considered unclean.
Yeah, but then chicken was fine, even though he's about to say, because they carry salmonella.
Yeah.
Chicken carries salmonella.
Yeah, but they didn't know about chickens, because chickens aren't from that area of the world. They didn't have chickens then. But God should know.
Etc. have about a 90% contamination rate of salmonella. Salmonella, a bacteria that causes many people to get violently sick and some of them to die. You see, the Bible never gets a single medical fact wrong, and it exhibits a knowledge of scientific facts that is thousands of years ahead of its time.
This is what you wanted to get to, so
yeah, so first of all, as it comes to unclean meats, Romans 14:14. I know, and am persuaded by the Lord Jesus that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. You can pick and choose which animals are unclean now, and you can eat the ones you personally deem clean. It doesn't matter. Everything you've just said was undone in Romans.
Yeah, but he doesn't. But the thing is he won't have read that properly in the context of what it is, because that was something that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people when they read the Bible, they just kind of skim for the bits they like and the bits they want.
Yeah.
Because like when you go to a person who says they're like, oh, I know all this about the Bible, right? And you go, so what about the bit about mixed fabrics? And they go, what? You can't approach a woman on a period.
You're talking about fabrics? Are you some sort of homosexual?
Yeah. Bear killed all them kids. You know,
they don't like that.
Joshua, was it Joshua? The guy who the guy who destroyed Jericho? Was it Joshua?
I don't personally know yet.
Well, the guy who killed, the guy who defeated Jericho, the horn, and brought the walls down and everything, right? Well, he also killed all these kings by stamping on the necks and cutting their heads off and everything. But that didn't happen. Whatever.
Yeah, we don't like brutality. But
Any medical facts that you found there?
I had a quick skim. There's a lot of Bible, so it's hard to find anything that you want properly. But drink wine for your frequent ailments. No matter what is wrong with you, drink wine for frequent ailments. Priests praying over you.
Because wine definitely doesn't lower one's immune system.
Yeah. Priests praying over you will cure all ailments as long as they're anointing you with oil.
Hey, those faith healers, right? They make a lot of money.
They do.
And they can't be making a lot of money if they're not getting results. That's all I'm saying.
So anoint people with oil. The priest will come out the church, you lie down on the floor, they'll anoint you with oil, leprosy, cured.
You're not leaning that so much that way. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He was just starting to go off the screen. You was leaning so much that way.
I know. I'm very tired. Matthew 8:1-34, touching a leper and saying, "Be clean," kills leprosy. It was Jesus, but 2 Kings 2:20-22. Throwing salt in a spring will heal it to prevent death and miscarriage from those who drink from it. That's what I mentioned before. Genesis 20:17-18. Praying to God will cure all ailments and infertility.
Yeah.
There are just some that I grasped.
It's just a quick skim.
Yeah.
It's just a quick skim.
I mean, when I've already spent 4 hours with this guy because I was just overly interested in destroying every argument he possibly has, I got to the end and I'm like, it's midnight now. I've got to get up early for work. I need this last little bit. What can I find?
I spent all my time researching the Bible.
Oh, this was my special little project. That special place in my heart because he makes Jesus come faces.
It's all right. I want to get to my COVID rant.
Yeah. We'll do the other stuff we had planned another day.
Yeah,
because that's delightful.
Honestly, before this video starts swinging, I just want to say this is beyond ridiculous. How are you going to tell somebody they can't
I had to rip it. Do you know how incredibly hard it actually was to find this video? It was all over everywhere, right?
And to get a copy.
To actually find, that wasn't, from the news.
Yeah.
And, people talking over it and shit like that. It's only a short clip, so we'll just, we'll just let it play through.
Yeah.
Believe this Delta variant nonsense. Stop it!
Oh, wait, I need to slow it down. I sped it up.
You made him sound like a cartoon character for a minute.
Sped it up, Matt. There we go.
Stop it! I know right-wing watching. I don't care. If they go through round 2 and you start showing up all these masks and all this nonsense, I'll ask you to leave. I will ask you to leave. I am not playing these Democrat games up in this church. If you want a social distance, go to First Baptist Church, but don't come to this one. I'm done with it. I said I'm done with it. I ain't playing these stupid games.
He sounds like an angry religious woodpecker there for a minute.
Well, it's because he's a dick. See, this is really what I wanted to rant about. You see, because the thing is, let me get where's my picture? I found I just have this on in the background now. Do you know what? Fuck it. I'll go back to it to discuss. I'll get better at this one day. See, the thing is, right? There's so many fucking churches that are spreading shit like this. A lot of them. They're they want people to die, right? Because if you die, working against, humans, the government, regimes, whatever, right? You automatically go to heaven because you are then considered a martyr. And they're trying to it's basically a martyr narrative. The government wants you to do something. Don't do it because God doesn't want you to. God never tells you not to wear a mask. We just watched a video where the guy's like, no, God's telling you to quarantine all the time, right? But now, no, you can't do that, right? So now you have to come in, you have to not wear your mask. It'll kick you out if you don't. There's a lot of places that do that shit. They, Jehovah's Witnesses don't want you to get blood transfusions. They don't want you to do certain medical procedures. There's a lot of medical restrictions when it comes to different, different religions. And it's they want, it's one of the best ways of control. That's one of the reasons they have so many preconceived notions over sex now. It's bad and all this stuff, and they have to control sex because they're controlling your base emotions. They're controlling what controls you as a person, right? So when they're telling you, your idea of survival, well, that's dependent on God. So you don't need to do anything about that, You know what I mean? So the joke I made before about, they still look both ways when they cross the street, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do.
Right? But not when it comes to stuff like this, because, well, God doesn't want you to, so you're not going to. And if you die, it doesn't matter, you go to God anyway. Right?
Yeah.
And and because they're so scientifically illiterate, they go, oh, well, if people would, now they're going, oh, well, people that, get the vaccine, they're getting it because so many fucking people haven't had this vaccination, right? They're just like, oh, well, the virus itself starts to mutate, like it's done several times, and it makes vaccinations less, work less.
Yeah, they're less effective now. Herd immunity is probably going to be impossible if people aren't going to get vaccinated.
Yep.
So the people who can't be vaccinated are probably going to end up getting it.
So I do find it funny that this vaccination stuff is like the center where the left and the right finally start to agree, right? Because you've got right-wing idiots that are saying God doesn't want you to wear masks to get vaccinations. You've got right-wing idiots that are saying they're putting fucking tracking nanotechnology inside of you, right?
Offering fertilizer.
Yeah, and then you've got right-wing idiots that are going, oh, well, they're trying to, what is it, 5G through the wires, so it's not real, the disease isn't real. There's all this shit coming from right, and then the left is, well, Big Pharma, man. You can't like Big Pharma. Big Pharma's just trying to kill you. It's all population control. They're just trying to control you, man. Just trying to control you.
If they wanted to do something sinister, they would do it out in the open. Why? Because they can.
Yeah.
And they get away with it. Pfizer literally went, what can we do to make more money out of this?
Yes.
Because if everyone gets vaccinated and this goes away, then they've lost that massive profit from that one vaccine. So how do they make more money from it? Well, booster shots. And that's the next step. Yeah, booster shots. It's a good idea, but it's a money spinner for them. They don't have to do evil things in secret. They can do them out in the open.
Yes.
And they don't have to be evil either. They could be a mix. They could be like, well, we're doing this for the money, and we're going to rip you off. But it will help.
The conspiracy theories around this virus are fucking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's just going to keep on going and going and going because people are idiots. I think we should all just round them all up and shoot them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, someone came into one of our places of work and just went, it's not a real pandemic. It's not real. It's like, how is it not a real pandemic? It's gone pan-global. It's everywhere. There's not a country now that didn't have it.
So I'm going to steer it back to my original point a little bit because I got away a little bit from the religion thing. See, this is why I don't like moderate religious people. Because moderate religious people enable people like this guy and the other priests that do shit like this and whatever. Because they're just like, well, I just believe in God, man. I'm just going to church. But the thing is they go to these churches and they might not 100% agree with these people, but they don't go find another church. They just go, well, this is just where I'm going. This is my congregation. I have my friends here. I have these social ties with this place. So they don't, they don't do anything about it. You know what I mean?
They're ingrained,
these moderate people are the people that fucking, that prop up the more extremist types that fucking bomb abortion clinics or fucking, hate the gays and want to persecute them and persecute the blacks because they're a different skin color or a different shit. The moderates are the people that fucking perpetrate all of this shit because they give power in their numbers to the more extremist types. They go, well, look at all these billions of these billion people that fucking agree with me. You know what I mean? Even though most of them don't, but they get to say that number and people go, that's impressive.
Oh, yeah. And then, all right, that many people, they can't be wrong. That many people can't possibly be wrong.
Yeah. Just imagine screaming and shouting at your fucking congregation to, not protect themselves and each other during a pandemic.
I mean, if God did happen to be real and you died from a virus that you could have protected yourself from by, everyone in here wear a mask. Even if you're exempt from wearing a mask, put a face shield on. And, you take them all away, but God let you into heaven because you've enabled that death.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But they don't see it that way. They're just, I'm doing God's duty because these idiot Christian people have just started conflating God with right-wing politics.
I think one of the best ones is, it's only got a 2% kill rate, and it only goes for the elderly and the disabled and people with vulnerabilities. And it's like, what's 2% of 7 billion? It's a lot.
Yeah, it's like...
It's about
14 million?
14 million. Sounds right. Yeah, it is.
Still a fuck ton of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a fuck ton of people. And you got a lot of religious people. Nah, it won't affect us, whatever. Take your mask off. God. He'll protect you. Yeah, he'll protect you right as you're dying.
No, but they're like, oh, well, the mask doesn't protect me. Of course it doesn't fucking protect you. It protects other people from your stupid ass.
Yep. there is a small chance that that mask will protect you. A much larger chance that it'll protect somebody else. And if both of you are wearing a mask, a very, very good chance that neither of you will pass it on.
No, it's just the government, man. Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we've been doing this for 3 hours and such. That's enough. That's enough for all you people that aren't watching. Look at it. It's one. We've got one viewer. They're probably not even there. There you go.
Yeah.
3 hours talking into nothingness.
But if you are listening, thank you very much. For
Yeah, you know, cheers. You know, like and subscribe. When you smash that like button. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or, you know, we'll go for the, or don't. It's your choice.
No. Do it now. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the good cop. You have a choice. That choice should be to press the button.
Right. We'll do this again next week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and do some more pseudoscience stuff because I don't want to just do religious stuff, but things that are treated like religion. Like when I was going about the Hispanics, I didn't get to go on about like the doctrine of the signatures, which is another stupid Christian thing, where Christians go, "Oh well, God sent these plants here to help us." So, oh well, that bleeding heart flower, well, that's definitely heart medication. You know, if you break this apart, if you break this type of grass apart, it looks like it has a tooth, so that's for your teeth. It's a real thing. Doctrine of the Signatures was made in about the 1400s. All religious. Like that Hissipper brought up before, where it's still sold now as a curative thing because it is the Bible. Mormons do it. And these like multi-level marketing companies. I had them written down. They're really bad, but oh well.
Yeah, me and the other half had an idea. Like, maybe we should just start a business pandering to idiots. And we'll just grow herbs for homeopathic remedies. But I thought, why would I want to be part of the problem? That's a bad idea.
Of course, it's a bad idea.
I can make money from idiots. It's a good thing. But then I'm just enabling them. So no.
Yeah.
Didn't end up doing that.
Oh well.